WNBC TV Public Affairs, in cooperation with the Archdiocese of New York and the Paulist Fathers, presents Inquiry. Our topic today, Jackie Gleason Talks Religion.
Hello?
Hi.
How come I didn't have... Oh, you know what I just realized? I still need to hold the microphone right?
Are you now on your phone?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Okay.
But, like, if my laptop's here, doesn't it sound different than if I have it over here?
Not really.
All right. You know what? This was fun. Really fun. I hope we leave that in there. Do you want to call me back or just leave that in there? Because that's the kind of a show we have.
Whichever you prefer.
I think if you called me back, we would really be losers.
All right. Okay.
It would be too.
Okay, then the show.
No, but then you know.
The game's on.
Would you rather call me back? Because I'm totally into it.
Oh God, I don't care.
Okay, let's forget it. All right, hi Josh.
Hey.
Welcome to the show. Bing, bang, bang, from the quarantine studios in KFPCC. And I run out of steam halfway through every bit. I can't even do it. Brought to you by Not Even First Thoughts Theater. It's Thought Spiral. Boom, boom, boom.
The Corona Cast.
Is that your final answer, Kindler? Kindler? Is that what you call comedy, Kindler? Oh, you don't get that call back?
No, I do. It's Regis Philbin. Hilarious.
Yes. Well, how are you, Josh?
I'm doing
good to
okay.
Hear your voice.
I'm doing all right. I'm sitting in my office, my best dog Gal by my side.
Oh, that sounds. I mean, yeah, and that's lucky.
That is lucky. In every sense of the word, my friend. Every sense of the word.
How did you refer to her?
My best dog Gal.
Oh God, that's not. Would you rather replace that?
No, I'm sticking with it.
How about this one? I'm with my dog Friday.
No.
How come?
No, that doesn't work for me.
I listened to 20 minutes of our first, what do you call it, travelogue show? The travelogue of the week.
So you never got to day two then?
No, I've not gotten to day two because I just remembered that it was something I wanted to do, but I had a tough morning, so I used that excuse. But then that explains why I didn't listen this morning. But why didn't I listen earlier? No excuse.
There's no excuse, and yet there's also no consequences. So it works out pretty well.
Well, you think day two is good?
I just want to. Well, no, that's not the point.
Oh, you wanted to hear?
The point is that's what makes it different than another show.
I'm sorry, Jake. Don't even listen to me. It's like when I asked you. Here's why it's hard to listen back to me because I have to listen.
Oh, you don't
back
have to tell me why it's hard to listen back to you.
I thought you meant literally. Don't tell you. I literally had to listen back to me asking you how to open up an Instagram account.
Yeah, I bet that stung. I bet that stung a little bit.
It did sting. And then I realized, which I didn't realize while the bit was going on, what you meant by the Nazi Titanic.
Oh, good.
Then the other thing I was subjected to listening to, which is probably I'm harder on myself. Hey, sometimes people think I'm harder on myself than I need to be.
Yeah. No one who's seen your act, though.
Oh, even that laugh is getting to me. I have to listen to myself trying to listen and trying to be a person. And sometimes it's very hard for me. It feels like I'm trying too hard to be a person. So I know that's not good for me to listen to. I must be over listening for any note of phoniness in me or trying or not listening well enough or cutting you off. If you're listening that way, that's not the best way to listen to yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted you to actually hear my work.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Why don't you just say that? Why don't you just put your work on a separate disc?
I do. It does come in 2 tracks. I could just send you the 1-track version.
Well, why don't, here's what we'll do. You know how people have bonus material? If you buy us 10 cups of coffee.
I'll take out Andy.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what it's like? It's like that GPS where you can change the sound of the person talking to you.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Why is it saying from your iPhone? I'm not on my iPhone.
But the call's coming.
Josh Weinstein.
The call's coming through the iPhones.
I can't figure out this. Thank God I wasn't involved in the NASA program, and thank God I wasn't MacGyver. And I really beg Rachel Maddow to stop using the term MacGyver. It's bad enough that I'm a stand-up comic and had to hear stand-up comics say for 20, 30 years, "Who am I, MacGyver?" She uses it now as if it's a. Is that an adjective? No, when you MacGyver, it's a verb, right? I MacGyvered the phone.
Yeah, she's using it as a verb.
Yeah. And once again, I know you're not steamed about it.
Hold on one sec.
I can't believe this guy's taking another call.
Did you hear that?
I can't believe he's taking another call. No, I said I can't believe you're taking another call.
No, but you didn't hear you didn't hear the MacGyver soundbite I just played?
No, that would have been. You don't have MacGyver loaded up like you're.
I happen to have an easy access MacGyver clip because Michael DeBar was in MacGyver, so I just happened to have something on my.
Well, how come I couldn't hear it? You're not like in a different. You're not. I can hear everything else you're doing.
No, because I played it on my laptop, which went out.
Yes,
it's all very complicated.
How did it feel in your ears? So you heard it nicely.
I heard it, and our listeners will have heard it.
I had a tough day today, Mr. Weinstein, as you know.
I do know. We texted about your emotional and gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah, I thought you loved to hear about my vomiting, but you said, you know what, I don't need every detail of it, so I won't bring details back. But I'm okay.
I'm okay with that you vomited being information. I mean, it's not the greatest, but then when you described what the contents. Especially what?
Well, marshmallow peeps.
Yeah, it's like, who wants to picture that, Andy?
I thought that would be a nice thing to picture.
That was the official Technicolor yawn.
What? It's better than I ate minestrone. I woke up and had a lot of minestrone soup, or I had a blood orange.
Andy, let me tell you about my latest loose stool.
No, see, that's the difference between me and you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the difference between me and you. I'm clean. My comedy is clean. Because for some reason, vomit doesn't bother me, so I'm a better person.
Okay.
You go to bathroom humor, which is objectively wrong.
Where did you throw up?
In the toilet, in the bathroom. But I ate. It's true. It is true. Don't think that I haven't thought about the fact that I revealed that. Well, I'm revealing to people that I vomit because it's true. But if I was having problems in the other area that I won't refer to, I would never bring that up.
Okay, so vomiting and impotence are good, but door number 3, no go.
Don't bring impotence. Hey, I told you that my penis hasn't worked for so long. I applied for a loan with the Small Business Administration. Get it? Small business? Now, how's that not funny? How's that not? That's funny.
Let me count the ways. Oh, that's not funny.
It's family friendly. No, it's not family friendly. It's kind of disgusting. Okay, so I'm just wrong. I'm not going to – I should just say – anyway, the point is I ate too many marshmallow peeps on Easter, and then I started to get nervous. Susan went to the pharmacy, and I started to get very nervous about having to leave the house, and then just but that's not why I got nervous, though. Why I got nervous was that I got sent a whole bunch of photos of the clothes in my house, the various things in my mom's house.
Yeah.
That got to me.
Just to show you how daunting a task it was, or to just...
It's like... I can't explain all the ins and outs of why these are, because it really is. It's not important. First of all, it's just family stuff. But it's like if there was no virus, I would be able to go back into my mom's, into the house.
Right.
I can't go back into the house, and I don't know when I'm going to go back into the house. So unlike how it would normally be, although I'm not complaining, I know that, people have worse problems. I don't know, what's my thing? But I always felt I'd have some closure being able to spend some time there alone or something. I don't know what would happen, but I didn't get that time. And so now when I'm communicating with people about where my stuff is and the stuff that I want to keep, and then just the process of them sending photos of it, and then just thinking about it, and just kind of worrying that it's not that it's going to lose it all, but I kind of wanted to look at it before it went into storage. But then it just started to bring up uncomfortable feelings about the whole thing,
right? About
being home, about my life. And, the thing I have to say today is that I feel like I wanted to tell you this because I don't know if it conveys anything, but I kind of feel almost like I can't sit down anywhere. It's like I can't sit down anywhere for longer than the 20 minutes. I have to get up and do something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of not – it makes my hope would be that grieving would be just wailing, crying, and so, even though everybody says you don't know what's going to happen to you, but this feeling the last few days of I can't sit still and I can't – and I feel – bad wherever I am, kind of. I start to feel depressed.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to chime in that, I've had days like that recently that weren't morning based, so factor.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's just a cabin fever thing going on,
Oh, that's interesting. I have a tendency, I think, to want everything to be like Marcus Welby.
Right.
Sorry for the reference. But everything has an explanation. You're not letting go of the time that you didn't save your brother from drowning in ordinary people.
Right.
But that's just not. It's not. Not only is it not that, but you're bringing up the point that I don't even realize. Oh, everybody has a little of this right now anyway.
That's what I mean. It's not to say.
Yeah.
It's not to say that everyone's doing fucked, so fuck you. It's to say
Yeah.
Factor that in.
Well, the fact that I'm saying everyone is doing fucked, that I even preface things by saying I don't have anything to complain about is another way that I am constantly apologizing for my behavior, because this whole thing has increased my obsessions. It's increased the intensity of them. At least I'm aware of it, but it increases increases me. Like I had a thing on the internet this weekend, and luckily I shut it down fast. But it's like, I'm calling myself a moron. I know I'm calling myself a moron. I know I'm calling myself an idiot. But there is that thing where I can't. That voice gets stronger and stronger, or maybe it just feels like I'm at a psychic. Having a psychic thing in my head about you're a terrible person, you're a good person, you're a terrible person. And so that voice gets louder. You're a horrible person. Or whatever you did, even if it wasn't that horrible, it's the end. And you were told previously not to do this thing with the tweeting. I mean, Susan was so nice because she's like, give yourself a break. Forgive yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's
what you told me a month ago.
Well, yeah, but it's the only answer is the thing,
That's true.
I mean, obviously there's a larger goal in mind, which is don't feel a need to do it, but that's kind of besides the point.
Don't feel the need to do it for myself and for my health and for my family. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I say don't choose to do it because you're the worst person in the world, if you do it, it's just not helpful. And that's why my therapist had to remind me, you do have a disease, or however you want to look at it. You have this.
Yeah.
This is what you do. Before you came to me, this is what you did. I think I told you, she said, yeah, because I talk to you every day. She said, if psychiatrists had a solution for this, a cure, they would have found it by now.
Right.
for OCD and these things.
Right.
That's why people do sometimes need medicine.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like you can't eliminate that conversation. You can only add slightly more nutritious things to the conversation.
Exactly.
Like,
that's exactly right.
It's like, I need to forgive myself. That's a nutritious thing to add to the conversation,
Yeah.
But,
and then change it. Sorry.
The real thing is just, it's like, nobody has any expectations on you. A, because of what's going on in the world, and B, because you've been through a whole shitstorm of personal grief. So there isn't a load of expectations on you for what to do right and wrong, And sometimes that's hard, like the right thing to do in your head is go to New York, but you can't do that. So right away, that's frustrating and makes you feel bad. We have another dear friend whose mother just died this week in another state, and he's going through the same thing. Where
he can't go. He just can't go.
Yeah, I've been through the remote sickness thing before, but I was able to be there on the ground when shit hit the fan, and so I can only imagine how just core level frustrating it must be.
It is amazing to me that my mind, for some reason, goes to comparing what I had. Like, I instantly say, yeah, Andy, but you got to see your mom and sister. They didn't go in the hospital with COVID, and then they couldn't see anybody. What is that part of your mind? It's not a helpful part of my mind. It's like a part that was added there, like, don't get too big for your britches, young man,
but that's also,
or don't think you're the only one who suffers.
There's that, and I think some of it is like post-Twitter stress syndrome, Where,
yeah.
Where everyone is so gun shy, that because you start trying to figure out how someone's going to bust you, before you even do it. I mean, you probably should figure it out a little more sometimes.
Yeah. With the Krasantine brothers, I said, this ain't Krasantine. Does ring a bell. But I didn't. You know what?
I didn't even invest. When you like texted me and confessed that
that's all you needed.
That something had happened, and I didn't even go investigate. So.
Well, the thing about I did want to bring it up without bringing the whole thing up, but just to show you of the dynamic is that my brother, who I have to remember, is grieving he really is grieving. I mean, he's not making it up. Right. But he started to send me these things about Biden, because this is what in the old days before we stopped arguing about stuff. He would send me these things because he's told me that. He has told me, we had a talk even last week, and he goes, yes, I absolutely own the fact that I enjoyed torturing you as a child, and
right.
and at various times in my life, I loved to wind you up and get you going, right? So,
well,
now
as your more recent brother, I can tell you it's fun.
Well, also, you had the dynamic with your brother. You mean it's like these are sibling things? I mean,
yes.
This is. I'm not saying this is a wonderful tradition like paddling in a fraternity.
No, but it's there.
But it's a family dynamic. But then the other part of it is that I realize this, and I don't think I'm speaking out of school. I think he feels. I think we're both, without giving specifics, we're both learning that we did not trust either one of us. For good reasons. We were scared to death to trust our parents to take care of us. And in certain cases, they did the opposite of taking care of us, which left us all feeling you cannot trust whoever's in charge of you.
Right.
So I realized that when he starts sending me these things about first of all, we do have, even though he says he's not a Republican, and he would never vote for Trump, but he has a different point of view than me in general. But because he's grieving, I realized he's getting even more mad. Like, what the hell? Why do the Democrats pick this guy Biden, and now he had an affair with this lady or whatever the thing is? So he got me all wound up. So I started to and I started to look online for the other side of this Tara Reid story, right? The Tara Reid thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain the whole thing, right?
I'm there.
So ends up cut to I've really not violated. See, here's the thing. I haven't violated every tenet of human decency, but I'm not often someone who would just, it was the first article I could find that questioned what was happening, and it was on, here's how stupid I am. It was on Medium. I was going, it's on Medium, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was a mistake, Josh.
So you went on. So you went on to do it to subtweet your brother, essentially.
Exactly. And when I told my brother, and my brother, was on the phone with him, telling him about all these things over the years where I've gotten in trouble online, and he was like fascinated to hear about it because he never is. I mean, he's never online, so he's never had pain in that area, but he has pain in his own areas, obviously.
Right.
And so to him, he's sending things around to his friends and all these kind of stuff. But so I felt it was a big, major grow-up thing for me to go, I could turn it around on him and go, God damn it, he sent me those. I mean, part of me does go, why does he send me those things? But the other part of it is, I can't take the bait, and I can't, not even the bait. I have to realize that he's also stressed. And even though he made an agreement about politics, a couple of times he would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up."
I mean, it is bait.
Yes.
But it's coming from a place of sort of immature hostility, that you don't have to engage with.
Exactly. And again, it's like, do I have immature hostility?
Sure.
Yes, I do, Josh. Yes, I do. I do, turns out. Turns out that I also have it. And so this process of embracing your family and their flaws and embracing yourself and your flaws is such a major thing, and it remains a hard thing for me, and but it's an amazing change for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see way more of the playing field, which is helpful.
Well, it's got to be helpful in every way, because there's a level of me where it doesn't matter what you have ever said to me. If some part of me believe, if I don't do well on this podcast, I'm going to disappoint Josh. All that does is, it doesn't mean it ruins the podcast, but the less I can have these feelings,
right?
Or at least acknowledge, oh, there you are again. You think the way to heal yourself is to put on a show. That's why comics, I think, are on all the time. Not all the time, but that's part. I know when I'm on, but I also know when I'm on because I think I have to put on a performance, whereas a podcast is not as performance-oriented as it is conversation-based.
Yeah, well, you have a couple of different ons. You have maybe 3 or 4 ons, I would say.
There's bulldozer, man.
Well, there's nervous on, that one's hard to take. Nervous in the car on. That one's not good.
How's that sound? Can you do any impressions of these? Or
it's just belligerent shtick. It's relentless belligerent shtick.
Oh, you know what? Until you said that, I didn't know what you were saying, but now I know it is. It's like calling out every store name.
Yes, exactly.
Calling out every intersection.
Yes. Then there's on, which is genuinely funny. Then there's took an Adderall 30 minutes ago on, which is somewhere in between the two.
Oh, how about too high for the session?
Yeah, too high. Then there's weed on, which can go any way, but generally not the best.
Do you know what the thinking is before when I do it that way?
What's that?
What do you think I'm thinking when I get high before a show or to do the podcast? What would you think my thought process is?
I shouldn't get high before the show. Okay, I'm getting high.
But why do I
Wait, no, I'm taking you through the whole thing.
Okay, take it away. Give me some space.
Okay, I want to get high is the first one. Then it's I shouldn't get high before a show. Well, fuck it, I'm going to get high anyway. Well, Josh is going to get mad at me. Well, fuck Josh for getting mad at me. I'm a grown man. I can get high wherever I want. And then, hi, Josh. How's that?
It's exactly perfect. Because at the end, when I go through all those things, then I'm just has less short-term memory guy than normal. Oh, you know what would be better? If I didn't even know that I was having a conversation. If I could when the other person stops their sound, I say something funny.
Right. That's all this needs.
Well, that's not what I really am saying. But I mean,
right.
I'm trying to be relaxed, or I'm trying to get away from something, or I'm trying to get away from the feeling of, oh God, I'm dreading me having to be on, which is not what anybody wants. They want me to not be on, but relax. And nobody cares. In other words, you're not saying, you fucking son of a bitch. You smoked, didn't you?
No,
and you're not taking me up and throwing me against the wall and slapping me around the house?
No, for me, it's a game figuring out which on you're on.
Oh, you could, I don't know what you should go, a therapist or something. You really are good at seeing where people are coming from, where I'm terrible at it.
I am good at that. The thing I'm bad at is going to school. So it's not going to happen.
Oh, well, you wouldn't enjoy it as much as now not doing a million other things.
I prefer my my amateurish bus stops brand of psychological help.
But I think you have to give, not that you need to give credit to yourself, but I feel that, and I don't want to turn this into love you, John Boy, good night, Schmeckle Brain, but I tend to meet a lot of people who are like, your wife is spiritual, I'm spiritual, and you're not antagonistic towards it. And I don't think that's true of a lot of people who are agnostic or whatever. I think that's a good, really strong character trait, and that it shows that you're secure in your own thing. I don't know where it comes from, but it's good.
Well, thank you. No, I think it's I think if people have faith, it's a gift, and I would never poke. I would never.
Right.
I would, if it's harmful, I would poke holes in it. But if it's just,
Of course, yeah. Well, the reason why you don't want to argue with me about it is because I've timed it to 20 seconds. Within 20 seconds, I can actually see my father's face in my head.
Right. Where's your God now?
Actually, if I'm worried about you, he's going to be mad at me. That's probably, my mom was always depressed. She was always depressed.
Yeah.
So so one of the things you had to guess was, and Mom, I don't know if she's listening. I don't know if she's listening. I hope she doesn't listen to me. That's my favorite running bit. But trying as a young child, where you feel like your survival is based on guessing where she is in that moment. That's why I come into the house. What face could you have on, or any human being have on, that I wouldn't maybe interpret negatively?
Right.
I've seen them all. Right. I've seen someone smile and say, "Hi, Andy. Yeah, what are you doing now?"
All right. The smile with a knife.
Smile with a knife. Oh, this really felt good. But I want to tell you one thing. I know we had a plan going in, but I wanted to tell you that now my lower back is hurting.
That's no good.
Is it your lower back that's hurting? No.
Yeah, that's where my disc is ruptured.
And when when I get up, I feel pain there.
Oh, yeah. Have you tried ice?
All I'm telling you is that I scheduled the exact same kind of surgery that you had, sight unseen.
Oh, perfect. Have you tried?
But I said...
Sorry, finish your bit.
What's that?
Finish your bit, sorry.
Okay, here's the bit. But I told the guy, you know what? Forget the going in through the back. Just go into the front.
Bazunga.
But I'm wondering if my lower back pain... I know what my lower back... I don't know what it's from, but since I don't do Taekwondo anymore and I haven't been walking...
It's the sitting around for 28 hours a day.
Yeah. What can I do without a Pilates? Okay, here's another thing. I should consult as somebody else. But without going to Pilates, can you loosen up your lower back in different ways?
Yeah, I would go on YouTube and look for some good gentle stretching exercises.
Okay. I have a Bosu ball, but we don't want it. It's in the storeroom. We don't like it in the house. But
I borrowed a Bosu from my trainer.
And you have it at home?
Yeah, I do my ab stuff on it.
But okay, I think I'm going to try and push it. You also have a room. You also have room for things in your house, whereas we have there's no excuse. I'm going to get the Bosu ball. Do you think this was good radio? It's not radio. We don't do a radio show, do we?
Well, here's the nice thing. It's just the first fifth of the show. We can still pull it out.
We can still pull it up, but I also want to tell you that I was not in the mood. I was really not in the mood to do this. Like, I was scared to do it.
No, you were
not scared.
You were prepping earlier on in the day. You were setting an escape hatch.
And at 8:00, I took a half-hour nap, and I almost texted you. I'm not feeling so good now. I'm just letting you know when I wake up in a half hour, I might not want to do it. And I said, well what's that helping? Right. He already knows that you... because then he'll go, you know what, buddy? You shouldn't have to do it. But that's not the answer, because I feel better having done it.
Well, good.
I feel like it's a conversation.
Excellent.
Does this mean like we're good, you think?
I think we're good, but I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm trying to gently glide you into coming to that conclusion yourself.
Huh? What do you mean? Because you want that? Oh, this current thing ends in a way? You don't keep it on all day in case you have something funny to say with the tin cans? I listened to the tin can thing, right?
Yeah.
So I listened to go, okay, you're still quite not getting it yet. What he's talking about, Andy? Still not quite. Yes, now it's clear. You have a consciousness of what the topic is. You never did the thing that you claim that you did. You never did a thing. You never had a friend. Okay, this segue into the next door neighbor. That is good. You saved the adventures of the listening man. You saved it again.
All right. That's why it's a team.
Hey, you know what? It's like if I didn't have you, I'd wake up the next day and I'd be like Lewis.
Huh?
Of Martin and Lewis? I don't know.
Gotcha.
Does everything have to have a strong ending? Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Are there any parting shots you any Monday like lasagna thought you have?
No, I watched
lasagna?
I watched the Defiant ones last night.
I go over that all the time, and I never. It looks like it's great, right?
It's a pretty good movie. I mean, it's there's something almost like it's kind of like Night of the Hunter in a way.
And I never saw that. Those two movies are movies I always want to see that I haven't seen.
Night of the Hunter is better.
Okay.
But the Defiant ones is good.
I watched
Theodore Bickel as a Southern sheriff is probably the best thing about it.
Who?
Theodore Bickel.
Theodore Bickel?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's a name I don't hear that often, and I don't even know if I could play. He's a Jewish fellow, right?
He was a Jewish fellow,
yes. Hey, when you're Jewish, it lasts past death.
That's right.
I can't place his face at all.
Well,
so
look it up.
Well, and then I watched half of McMillions, which I really did enjoy.
Did or didn't?
Did.
Yeah, I liked it. I like crime things that aren't murders.
I can't. From your mouth to God's ears. You know what else is good for that? If you people like Nazi stuff like me, but you don't want Nazi. You don't want to see the Holocaust stuff all the time. A good show is Nazi Hunters. It's actual, how they hunted down Klaus Barbie and all those people. It's a documentary. But now did they just make a new movie on Netflix about that, or? No,
there's Hunters on Amazon.
And that's about something in the 70s, right?
Yeah, that's Al Pacino.
Does he go hoo-ha? I can smell a Nazi. Hoo-ha.
He goes Jew-ha.
I'd laugh at that. That's unfair. Don't go an easy route with me.
Jew-ha, Sam Wainwright.
Hey, See if you get this reference.
Okay.
Okay, Jeff.
Yes, that's David Letterman cutting off Jeff Altman when the interview's over.
Okay, Jeff. Okay, Josh.
Okay, Andy. Talk to you tomorrow?
Yes, and I'm going to press the end button. I don't know if it'll be as effective as when I press it on my regular phone, but I'm going to try it.
Okay, put your finger over the button and in the...
Can you emphasize a bit in July?
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry. There's no known way of saying an English sentence in which you begin a sentence with in and emphasize it. Get me a jury and show me how you can say in July, and I'll go down on you. That's just idiotic, if you'll forgive me by saying so. That's just stupid. In July. I'd love to know how you emphasize in and in July. Impossible. Meaningless.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Oh, there's the confused hello greeting.
You know why? Because I thought I would be slick and I could get my cherry cola. Hanson's cherry cola. By the way, tonight's episode of Thought Spiral is brought to you by Hanson's Cherry Vanilla Cola since 1935.
Brought to you by Thunderbird Wine. It has an interesting taste.
And brought to you by Bobby Beer. Drink Bobby Beer. Well, you're drinking beer.
Right.
Good evening.
When I drink beer, I drink Dos Equis.
I'm the least fascinating man in the world. And when I drink...
Oh, were you doing a character? I'm sorry.
Yes. You're the most fascinating person in the world? Or the most important... What's the guy?
No,
the most handsome person in the world?
It was a joke because you said I'm the least fascinating person in the world. And I went, oh, you're doing a character. I see.
Oh.
See?
Yeah, but that's not a put down.
No, it is. I was agreeing with you. I was saying, oh, that sounds natural. I
think that you're trying. If I didn't know you better. Hold on. This thing is not plugged in the thing. Well, there it is. Oh, my God. I can't. There's nothing I can do. This is a sign of grieving. Everything. You think it's not grieving. Well, no, forget the grieving. This is me. This is what OCD does to a human being.
Yeah.
I've introduced, if I'm sitting across the table from you, you see all the different things I do to avoid the moment.
Sure.
Now, I listened back to even more of our show.
Yeah.
Through the first bump,
okay.
Which the music was, it was from, you thought I was a small thing. You thought you were dealing with an old man with a kitchen, but you had another chicken coming. Right. And I really enjoyed it. I'm about 40 minutes in, but I am listening to my. I'm getting more used to listening to my voice without judging.
Yeah.
But when I listen to me, I feel like one thing I feel is better about this format is that when I interrupt you, which I try to do less, but why am I lying? If I'm interrupting, the crossover isn't as bad.
No, plus because we have 2 clean tracks, I can edit you right out.
Oh, I see, but still, that's right.
If one of us is talking over the other now, I can take out the one that's interrupting if the other one is actually has held on to flow.
And what's happening now is because you're getting the sound from me talking into the laptop, but you're not getting any sound of me hearing myself or any sound of me rustling anything. But I can hear myself and I'm using tonight a Delta Airlines headset.
Oh, nice. Very resourceful.
If you're a thought spiral listener, the first time I ever attempted a whatchamacallit? What's that called?
A lisp?
Speech impediment humor.
Yeah.
If you're a thought spiral, I think I can do a speech impediment. If you're a thought spiral, or maybe that's a cartoon voice. If you're a thought spiral, is that Donald Duck?
It was a Sylvester coughing up Donald Duck is what it sounded like.
If you're a thought spiral listener and you're on a plane and if you're a person that can't watch entertainment without a funny, cute voice, then maybe you should grow up and stop it with the phony sounds.
this is exactly the kind of 12-year-old with a tape recorder sort of entertainment that I think that this show is founded on.
I say. Can you evaluate and judge the following voices and tell me if they're good?
Okay, sure.
I suffer and suck. I say. How's that?
Was that Sylvester or Foghorn Leghorn?
Oh, do Foghorn Leghorn, I'll tell you.
I say, boy. I say, son.
Yes, it's Foghorn Leghorn.
Okay.
That is a great name. Anyway, I officially bail from this bit because I know it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Because I'll go into Elmer Fudd and I don't even know what he sounds like. I don't know what Bugs Bunny sounds like. And Mickey, I'm Mickey Mouse. Hey, kids. Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh, it's Mickey Mouse. Hello today to you, Josh.
Wow.
Josh, hello.
That is some good neighboring.
Josh, can I meet baby man? Josh, can you introduce me to baby? Oh. I started to go. I close to a nervous breakdown there for a second. Oh, there.
It just was bouncing back and forth between Mickey and Mr. Bill.
Hey, and now I try and do Mr. Bill. It comes like this. Hey, Mr. Bill. Hey, how about this one? Well, I'm Mr. Haney.
No, it's not very good.
Let me hear your Haney. I bet you do a good Haney.
I don't really because I never watched the show very much, but Mr. Haney. Isn't it kind of like that?
Yeah, it's like that.
I'm Mr. Haney from Drucker. I'm going down to Drucker store.
Well, I think I do. I think I do a fairly decent Floyd.
Oh, Andy's hyperventilating. Ooh.
Do you think it would be in bad taste if I made a series of fake, I've got the coronavirus with my CPAP mask on?
If you made a series of fake what?
Fake, I'm deathly ill, like I have the coronavirus, but I'm using a CPAP machine.
Yeah.
And they don't, so I'm pretending, but they don't know that maybe. I'm in the hospital.
No, I think you should I think you should totally do that.
Are you really? Because I think it's funny.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% behind it.
And then I'll go, folks, I'll be like this. I can't. I'm very short of breath. Psych.
Have Susan stand off camera going beep, beep, beep.
But should I say psych at the end, or should I say I'm suffering from the coronavirus? Not. At the end? Is that a good
And then
tag?
maybe you pull out a Corona beer and go, ah.
And then a song.
Oh, my little pretty one. My pretty one.
And then I'll do afterwards, I'll say, look, folks, if you take this in the wrong spirit, that's on you. I'm grieving. I've lost 2 family members. I can't possibly do anything inappropriate.
My mom had Parkinson's.
See? My mom's dead, see? And she had Parkinson's, see?
And she was a Quaker. And I don't mean the Parkinsons.
I want to go over something with you that's important for us to cover.
What's that?
Is that we all know that I'm sometimes pushing the laugh when I'm laughing.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I must say, I don't think I'm laughing at my own material. Which I think is the worst thing you can do.
Okay.
What do you mean? Are you saying I laugh at my own material?
I know I do. So I mean, I laugh at my own jokes on this fucking thing.
No, you don't.
Oh, I
Don't
do.
even-
I do so often, and it kills me every time. But there it is.
Oh, well,
See,
then I
just
must
did
do
it.
it too.
Just did it.
Okay, then I'm going to be the new Andy Kindler and just totally take the truth. I don't believe I'm a guy who goes, I'm not Bill Bowering it afterwards, right?
No.
What does it sound like when but anyway, when I'm laughing at you, forget about when I laugh at myself. I'll work on that. But when I'm laughing at you, sometimes it sounds like sometimes I think there's nervousness, but the other part of it is, as I went from day to day, Monday to Tuesday from last week, I could feel like I was in a mood where I wanted to be happy. You know what I mean? So I'm more I have I want to kind of laugh.
Okay, so where do you think you're going to get? Where do you think you're going to get with this conversation talking about how you're fake laughing at me?
Was that a fake laugh?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. You're trying to undermine my very foundation now.
No, I'm not trying to do that. I promise to. Even if if I found out I was Ed McMahonning you and it still sounded okay, I'd continue. No, I'm laughing for real. I appreciate humor, but sometimes it's like when I could do this with Tom Sharplink. Because I'm more like needy with him on the phone.
Yeah.
So then I'll laugh more.
Right.
It's a needy thing sometimes.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're. I think that you're explicitly needy with me, and therefore don't need to fake laugh.
Right. Yeah, but when if you laugh.
See, I just did it again. I did it when I said that.
Yeah, but you're laughing if you're laughing when you're saying something funny. That's just enjoying life.
Okay.
It's not like you're
all
going,
right. Well, then I'm guilty.
All right, but the thing with my laugh is that having OCD, I can question anything, so I can question my laugh.
Sure. Well, it doesn't help me for you to question your laugh of my jokes.
Oh, you mean not even? Are you insulted I brought up the topic?
No, I'm just saying there's just no winning in this conversation for me.
Do you think it's so boring that you'll cut it out?
No.
That sounds like someone who's resigned.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Who's resigned? No. You know what I'll tell you exactly what my problem is. What my problem is I start to analyze myself, and when you analyze yourself, there's a level of bullshit to it. I must not like the laugh I hear of somebody on some podcast, right? Who's constantly laughing. So now I want to justify why it is I laugh and say it's okay.
I think it's more that you listen to our podcast and your laugh is bugging you.
No, only in the first. No. Everything is bugging me because I'm in a state. I don't know if you know this, but a couple of my family members went Zaboomba. You know, some of my family members were cool. Well, one of them went, what's a good sound for death?
Kerplop.
It's not a Frank Sinatra song.
Kerplop is very Don Martin, I thought.
That's true, but there goes
How about Kersploink? How about Kersploink?
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Well, now you did it again, Josh. I have no idea what I was saying and where I was going with it. You
were asking for a sound that someone makes when they die.
Yes.
Does that cue you up?
I'm back. Not only does it cue me up, I'm back. But the reason why I hesitate to ask is because the first couple of months of the show, that's all I did. What did I say? What was I just saying? What did I say?
Yeah.
What did I say?
There was a lot of that.
You think if you died, you go yoing, like a pa-pa-pa-pa-dum-bum, boing. Is that how you die? Dead.
That's how you die. In the old vaudevillian's home.
I do an impression of my brother. Okay?
Yeah.
Because my brother always, when he calls me, he'll sing songs to me. And so this is my impression of him, because he's always singing, "Oh, Andy Roodle Doodle Doot Doot Doot." He does that before he gets into a serious conversation, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Andy, how you doing, Rob? It's Andy, Kuku Schmeeky Schmooka Schmook. Mom's dead."
That's a Kindler move.
That's my impression of him.
Yeah.
Andy Little Kindler is a dirty, rotten swindler in the morning. Now, Mom and your sister's dead. As well.
Yeah.
Why do I always do it the second time when the first time?
I don't know.
Why do I sound like Andy Rooney?
I don't know.
Oh, you see what I did that time? See what I did?
You trailed off. Yes, you did.
I out-awkward paused you.
Yeah. Well, but it was an awkward pause caused by me trying to give you space.
It's true. That's a mistake.
Oh, he's into his delightful Andy Rooney romp. I should just sit back. Wah, wah.
Okay, now, here's the thing. I do think that when I've think back about the trouble. Let's say the troubled side of Thought Spiral.
Yeah, which is what?
Which is that I am either over listening, you know what I mean, like asking you questions like I'm a detective, you know, about a story. There is still sometimes where I'll bring up something that I don't know is going to bore you.
Well, I think that's sort of the gambit we all run in conversations, isn't it?
Right. And so if I get too much where I go, I know that the long stories are bad.
Well, do you want me to give you like some sort of subtle cue, like?
You mean like Jim from Taxi? Is that what you're gonna?
Okie doke.
I love that there's nobody who's more willing to launch into a thing than you are.
If I think about it, I'm sunk. So I just have to go first thought.
Yeah, and that's where First Thought Theater is also First Soul.
Yes, first. Theater, it's also First Noise Theater.
First Noise Theater. Did you do, and admit that you did if you did, any Jim from Taxi or Kramer? Did you ever go, oh, this guy's like Jim from Taxi? Or anything that was Jim from Taxi?
No.
Neither did I. I guess that was a bad question.
No.
That's like asking you if you ever did Jack Nicholson.
I never did impressions.
Don't say that.
I don't do them in my act. Now I'll throw some voices in occasionally, but it's not like I ever did impressions, really.
Well, the best impressionists are the ones who didn't want to do it early. Those are the ones you got to worry about, like the Rich Littles.
Right.
They're too into it. It's a really big... Tonight on the shoe, I got a really big shoe. I've got the hosts right here on this stage tonight. The hosts of Thought Spiral.
Did W.C. Fields have a variety show?
He's not that, right? I went to Philadelphia last week. I stayed there for Tuesday. No, okay, give it. Let me just leave me alone. Let me come up with it.
Okay. Try my little chickadee.
My little. I'm your little chickadee. See? Where's your chickadee now?
On the whole, I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
I'd rather be in my little chickadee. I like kids. I like children. Medium rare. Oh, some joke like that. No, I could do him if I was watching him because
yes,
his voice is. I could do it Western.
Yeah, yes, you could.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Stop doing yeah. Don't do yeah. Cause...
Get another word. Try another word. Expand it. See? Should I do see?
No.
You like see? I have two words I can do. Yeah. Or I can do see. How about this one? This is my classic. You've killed her. She's dead. Long live Dorothy.
Nope, still need more.
Oh, God. Now, I'm not saying we need to end the call now because I am sighing and I am starting to do my thing like, wow, I had 5 good seconds in a row.
Yeah.
What does this guy want from me?
Well, last night was very serious. Tonight it was all a bunch of bullshit. So I think it wouldn't be a bad time to just pull out.
Last night was serious?
Yeah. We talked about Sad Andy a lot last night.
Oh, just to put what if I did this? Just to put a button on last night's conversation. If you miss it, don't be afraid to cry. And also, your loved ones are in heaven. Who is this? What is this? It's not even a thing. You would never start talking without a thing, would you? I'd
have more of a thing than that.
Yeah, I mean, have I no shame to just?
There's been a lot of times thus far this evening where noises seem to be sufficient for you.
Hey, I just realized something. Can you talk a little more?
Sure.
Oh, I can make you louder. I I don't want to call myself. I don't. As you know, I don't have any issues about my intelligence. You understand that, right?
No, of course I do that. Why would Why would you?
Right, because I'm an intelligent person.
Absolutely.
This whole effing time, as the kids say. Fucking time. You sound like you're in another room talking to me. Because I didn't realize to turn up the volume in my goddamn headphones. I thought that would be turning up the volume on my stupid voice. I don't deserve to have electronics.
All right.
I'm a bad person.
Back to cans and string.
Daddy, shut up, Daddy. Love me, Daddy. Oh, that's not good. Love me, Daddy's not good. Take that out or leave it in. Okay, I'm ready to go then.
All right.
Okay.
I would love
but you know what?
I would love to talk you out of it.
I had to do it on my terms.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, Josh, I love you. No,
that's okay. It's okay. I just it's a nice thing to say, and it makes me nervous when you say it and then pull back.
No. I love your TV. I mean, your TV. Okay, I'm very happy. Can I? Would you try hanging up on me, or that wouldn't sound as good? Do I have to always end the call?
I'll do it if you'd like.
Yeah. So anyway, why do you? I would like to know.
Wait, what's my motivation?
So when I was younger, I knew I was funny, but then I got really funny, and then I said, one more thing. I want to read a letter.
I like the unusual flavor of Thunderbird wine. It's an exceptionally good drink for every occasion. Thunderbird has an unusual flavor all its own, not quite like anything I've ever tasted. I suggest that you try Thunderbird. It's really delightful.
Good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I want to, for those of you who don't follow the behind the scenes of anything, my laptop was open, but I wasn't unlocked.
Huh, okay.
So that I wouldn't have necessarily thought. It's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
What's wrong? Are you choking?
I'm choking on your boringness.
I don't know that. Oh, my God. Why is Dennis Miller trending? Did you know he's trending?
I did not know that.
Can I click on it and see?
Sure.
Dennis Miller. Oh, I don't know. I guess it's terrible, but everyone's going, Dennis Miller delivering a joke reminds me of Garo Premium. So I don't know. I can't even find out what it's about.
Gotcha. I think he was I think he was on Hannity tonight.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you believe? No, forget it. That's over. I'm glad I stopped myself. So good evening. Good evening. Hey, happy hump day.
And a happy hump day to you, Chachi.
Yeah, you got it, Choo-Choo. You know, the Democrats, but, I'm gonna laugh at what I'm saying as I say it because it's just, I'm incredulous at how people are stupid.
I haven't seen a hoax like this since HBO gave me that last special.
Too self-deprecating for him, right?
It was. It was a. It was a Mobius loop.
I don't know why. Okay. By the way, I have I've changed my opinion about the laughing.
About the what?
About me laughing.
Okay.
During the broadcast at your Bon Mo's.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Well.
Okay, now. Oh, I'm so. His house. You don't think? I'm gonna ask you this honestly. I'm not stupid, right?
No, Andy.
So, would you say that I have a normal intelligence?
At least.
You're saying it like don't believe it in a way.
No, I believe you have at least normal intelligence. that's.
But isn't that low?
I can't say that more sincerely. We can negotiate. We can negotiate up from that baseline.
Well, I listened today to the rest of the show. Not the rest of the show. I'm up to day 5 with the letters.
Yeah.
And I can't hear the chair at all. I can't hear your creaking chair at all.
No.
And you assured me of that.
Yeah.
And then, so here's how, I don't want to call myself stupid, maybe moronic is better, but as I was just talking to you and heard the chair, I was compelled almost to say, oh, I'm wrong. I do hear the chair. Do you see the cognitive inability to pick up the simplest of concepts?
Well, maybe you don't understand exactly how the whole thing's wired up, but I assure you, I would sit more still if it was getting onto the tape.
I don't hate myself. I'm just disappointed. Andy, do you think therapy's helping me if you hear me without qualifying and go, Andy, I don't hate you. I'm just disappointed.
This is what this is what happens when your parents are gone, is you have to start doing that shit to yourself.
Who are you talking about?
Willis?
Who are you talking about? My parents are gone.
Oh, that's hilarious.
My parents? What's this character? The amnesia guy?
It's the not funny enough to make me uncomfortable, but still uncomfortable enough to not be funny.
No, uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable? Yes, uncomfortable subject matter, uncomfortable execution-wise, and uncomfortable to have to listen to it.
Yeah.
On your side. To me, when I'm delivering bad material, it is. I assume it's never as bad as receiving it. I'm almost happy either way. If you laugh, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing something that's not that funny, I'll forget that it's not that funny, and I'll assume that you saw something in it that was, that I was able to achieve hilarity, even though all the ingredients weren't there.
And then you'll write it on a card, which is the sad part.
That's the sad part. The reminder to write something on a card so I don't forget it, and then you look back and all of a sudden you can't even remember to watch the ruling class, which I have to remind myself 7 times.
Right. We should.
But it's not on yet.
Huh?
It's not on yet, right?
Well, no, it was Lawrence of Arabia that we were going to watch.
No, but we're not going to watch that.
Well, we're going to watch it next week because it's on Sunday morning so we can tape it.
Oh, okay. So I will tape it. I will tape it and watch it. But there's another part of me that says, why during a morning period did you agree to watch a 7.5? It's a 7.5 hour movie, right? It's like The Sorrow and the Pity, right?
It's long. It's between 3 and 4.
You said 3:15 last time.
No, you said that because you watched the Scorsese.
Oh, why does that sound? That sound means I'm not quite listening. I'm not connected, but I'm making a sound to keep the conversation going. Oh.
And your next move after that?
Is to again comment on what I'm thinking rather than have a conversation.
Okay.
And now I'm thinking, and now I'm hearing what you just said.
This is turning into a difficult week, Andy.
Oh, wait. You have to give me a signal on this. Do you mean editing-wise or everything else?
Well, listening. Listening-wise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you won't be able to deliver your usual 7.5 hour quarantine show. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like an insult comic.
I don't know. Is it a problem what I'm doing over here? Because, we can just shut it the fuck down.
Look, you don't think I appreciate that you do all the work for the podcast? Not really, because if I did, I would say it more often and I'd be nicer about it. You don't know that you don't think this podcast, I work 24/7 on. I barely work on it when I'm on it.
So what'd you do today, And?
Today I had a day that it started out poor. Well, I can't sleep. So I can sleep, but I had to take a Xanax, and I don't know if this is legal, but I'm still working on some of the Xanax that I stole from my mom.
Well, no, it's not, but that's okay.
Should you? But if you left it in, leave it in. Leave it in, man.
All right.
You know why? Because the man can't fucking stop me.
That's right. It was just satire.
So I haven't been sleeping that well. So I'm rationing the Xanax that I have left. And I don't want to ask my psychiatrist for Xanax. No, I do. but she doesn't give me enough to act as a sleep thing. Do you think I need Ambien?
Ambien's it's for sleep.
Yeah. I've been using Xanax for sleep.
Have you tried like Tylenol PM?
I assumed that it wouldn't work.
No, it actually does.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
It's not just for pussies.
Any more?
Exactly.
So I got up I've been going to sleep I think I went to sleep at 6:30 in the morning, and I did reach out to more people about my mom and sister, and then I tweeted something that people were reacting to, and I'm actually feeling good about receiving people's thing and saying thanks. I always thought that would be selling out or something, or I always want to. Here's what it is. I always want to present myself as someone who's not going to be on Facebook saying my dad died 5 minutes ago. Here's a photo, and or something overly treacly about my dad, and then so that gets that oh my God I'm so sorry reaction. But I actually feel like I do want to share it with people.
Well, good. Yeah, I mean, feedback is nice in all kinds of forms.
Yeah. I think I'm loosening up a little bit with stuff like that. Well, you know what it is? It's not. It's trying to just see. I'm worried if I don't regulate myself really tightly, that I'm going to be I'm going to get to an argument with some like the other stuff I had before, the other mistakes I've made. And that's doesn't feel good to live that way sometimes. I wish I wasn't living that way.
Well, it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, what's strange to me is you do realize that this show is public, right?
I'm sorry, what?
I know. It's hard to accept if you really go back and listen.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
I said this show is public as well.
Right. But I don't, except for the fact that I don't want to say something that would really upset somebody or that is too personal, and I actually am, because of OCD and ADHD, I am an oversharer. I don't mind. You going into the show wanted it to be a show about me mentally in a way. I mean, that was the first pitch. So I always assumed I was going to talk about myself on the show.
No, it's not a criticism, Andy. I think.
No. The reason why you're hearing it as a criticism is because I hear everything as a criticism.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that's not a criticism. But on Facebook and Twitter, my dislike of people doing that, I'm starting to think is my problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like everything, it's all just about how you do it.
Yes.
It's all about tone.
Right. You know what I just realized? I realized because I Twitter is one of those things where, there are people who you've always respected your whole life, like comedians and people. And then, so you kind of really want that positive feedback from them, but from everybody. Like I have friends on Twitter. I've been friends since the first day of Twitter. So you really want that connection. But then I am kind of afraid of oversharing, or maybe it's just I'm OCD and whatever I'm doing, I'm OCD.
Right. Well, it's I don't know. It's just, I guess, you're talking about posing, so it's hard for me to.
How do you mean?
I mean, you're saying that you only want to give certain information on Twitter because of certain people you want to impress or not.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the bad part. That's the bad part automatically. That's what I worry about all the time.
Yeah.
I want famous people to hear how funny I am. Or I want famous people to think I'm a great person. Or forget about that they're famous people, the people I have a relationship with, or Twitter friends.
Right.
It's that kind of thing where, and in fact, as you said that, that hurt my feelings, not because you said it, but because I believe that it's true somehow deep down. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm only saying it what you were describing to me.
Right. So when I feel now, and this happens in therapy a lot, I feel like I can't unsay that actually revealed the truth about me, because
And here's the thing. The worst thing in the world would be for someone to name drop, and yet I do name drop. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, and maybe I can work on it.
Yeah, well, I think it's more an issue of you getting hypocrisy pangs than anything, I think.
It's not knowing what my motivation is. Like, I wanted people to see, like, there are some
But
photos.
the motivation is very simple. It's attention. I that's why I'm there too.
Right, but
I'm
you're
not
getting
saying,
attention in a way that you think will be elicit laughter or good feelings. Most of the time, right?
I share a bit, but I don't like a whole bunch of sympathy coming my way.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can see that. It just gets
like I didn't post about my cancer until I was fully out of the woods.
Right.
Because I fucking hate pep talks. I hate them.
Yeah, because especially the pep talks where they within 1 second it says things that are clearly not true. You're like, it's almost like saying, Josh, I'm so sorry that you got cancer, but your memory's going to live on forever.
Right.
It's that kind of thing.
Even
if you died tomorrow, Josh, you have to admit it's been great, right?
Yeah, it triggers a whole bunch of things, It triggers a bunch of sort of automatic responses from people, which are meaningless and yet so nice of them nonetheless. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And I think it's this. It's like I wanted to.
I guess what it comes down to is Twitter isn't life.
Well, that's true. So when you say but what is that? I don't quite get what that means, though.
You're not going to get the things you need from life on Twitter,
That's for sure. That's for absolutely sure. Yeah.
Those relationships are Twitter relationships, and they're different than real relationships.
And I'm not so sure that here's my dilemma. It's not that I don't think that people who I've had long relationships on Twitter I wouldn't be able to hang out with and have fun. It's just not the same relationship. And every time I've met someone on Twitter, it's not like it's always like, oh, this was bad. It's just you're almost like starting over again with someone you don't really know. You know them in a certain way.
Because when I said pose, it wasn't like just you on Twitter posing.
Uh-huh.
Everyone has a pose on Twitter.
You could say a pose?
A pose, yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You mean and the like on the one extreme of the continuum or the thing would be like a Colin Quinn, where it's a character all the time, and it's funny.
Yeah.
You're not doing a character, but you're usually you're not looking to cause trouble, or you're looking to. You could express. Well, I don't know but I'm wrong about what I say about you.
No, I'm pretty much looking to write jokes.
Yes. But sometimes you get set at Trump, and you express frustration, but you don't get that deep into that hole.
Well, and I will rarely just express pure frustration without trying to put it in the form of a bon mot.
Yeah, because my big problem is simply, and the more simple I can keep it, the better. Is simply that the argument immediately is not about that. It's about me and my father. And that's all and I take my father out of the equation now. But when you see what it clearly is, then you go, well, you can't win this no matter what you do, because you've already invested other people's opinion of you. They have to have the right opinion of you, or you're going to have to tell them they're wrong, or you're going to have to say you're wrong. Well, it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's their pose's opinion of you.
Yes.
Some people are there to argue. Some people are behaving in ways they don't behave in the real world. So you aren't getting the real thing.
No, except I always feel like, depending on the kind of comedian they are, like even when I've met Emo many times. Emo is kind of like he is on Twitter. Even though he has a voice when he does comedy, you kind of get the way he does look at life. It's just exaggerated. But I don't think that's what you're saying, so don't even listen to me.
right? That's not what you're saying.
That's not really what I'm saying. No, I'm not talking about. I'm not really talking about comedians you fight with. I'm talking about comedians fans you fight with. You know.
Oh, I don't fight with Emo though because I love him. But
No.
I have never. In fact, once Emo came up to me and I unfollowed him by mistake, and he was and he goes, "What did I say?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I felt terrible about it." Yeah, I know. The thing that you're bringing up is such an interesting thing because obviously in therapy and when I'm and over the last few years when I really kind of hit rock bottom with social media and everything, you know, you're really dealing. You almost feel ashamed when you're talking about how much you've invested. You've made Twitter into a metaphor by investing so much more into it than it could possibly generate, and also. But it's also the way it's an example of how I'm living my life in that moment. In that life, if I wasn't on Twitter, I might be arguing with someone in a restaurant. You know, it's just that part of me that gets like strident, or the part of me that really you show where it's easy to show where all your emotions are coming from. But I also think the point you're making is you do have to keep a distance from probably everything that you do, some kind of a little distance.
Yeah, it's a funhouse mirror.
Right. You know, that's the thing was I was going to tell you that, like for a long time I have about 15, 20 pictures or whatever from my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like to me, I kind of want to post those. Like if I opened up Instagram, that's the type of thing I would post.
That would be the thing to post.
Right. Now, so like that picture I posted last night.
A delight.
Right. But when I look at that, I actually I say to myself, oh, you're kind of a cute looking man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying all these things. And so, but can you see how quickly that can, if you have mental issues, how you could flip that around to, oh, you want everybody to know that you play guitar, don't you? Well, I kind of like to know people that I play guitar. You know, it's like I can give it the worst. And sometimes I'll argue with myself over and over and over, and I won't even know whether to post something because I don't know where I'm coming from. I'll get myself all bollocksed up.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it just kind of depends what you want, you know. Like, you know, that picture, you look, you know, for the time, you look perfectly cool. But in the context of who we all know you are, it's a hilarious picture.
It really is. It does not look like. I mean, does it look like? You know it's me?
Yeah, I know it's you, but I wouldn't. I mean, if I saw that picture cold, it would take a double take to go, that's Andy.
The other thing I liked about it was I don't remember having fun back then, and I was really enjoying myself. You know what I mean? It seemed like
you had that little face like what? No one's giving me credit for this G suspended ninth, huh?
Yeah, that's what you said. You look so happy with that chord. That's like the juggler who makes it 3 balls look like it's the most dangerous thing in the world,
right.
Or something. And, you know, it's very good to talk about this stuff because I think a lot of it is like I'm looking at these photos because I'm trying, you know, they work. Looking at photos works to stir up your memories of your family.
Yeah, and they're and people like seeing them, and they're super. And but like I said, if you're looking for people going, wow, you're hot, you know, you're not going to get what you want.
Well, hey, do you think I was attractive 40 years ago? Hey, would you like to date me?
But it's even for me, it's kind of a revelation because I pick, you know, when you talk about your music days, I'm just picturing slightly younger you know.
Right. With the kind of frustrated look and the over-trying.
Yeah. I'm picturing comedy Andy playing a guitar. But you were fully invested in being rock and roll Andy.
Where do you hold the guitar when you're standing? Do you hold it lower?
I'm pretty straight ahead. I don't think I go either. I don't go deliberately either direction.
Right. If you go low, that's like a Townsend thing, right? You're like, I guess, I don't know. I guess the Ramones learned to play. I mean, some people play guitar low.
I'm not a good enough player to let the affectation dictate where the guitar goes.
I saw a great thing with Judy Garland last night, and it's called Sid and Judy. It's like Sid Luft's actual memoirs and Judy Garland's memoirs. It was pretty intense. But man, she inhabited a song like no one I've ever seen. I mean, she could do it like on these movie sets. Sometimes she would do 27 takes over 3 days.
Yeah.
She wasn't pretending to give it 100%. That's just the way she sang.
Yeah.
And not even like that she had no dynamics. She had dynamics, but she really, and I don't think I appreciated it as a kid as much.
No, it was sort of operatic almost in the way she wore it.
Yeah, because you separate the Wizard of Oz from her other whole other thing. So I didn't even think I was that familiar with her. All of those. It's a really good documentary. It's on Showtime.
I'll check it out.
I was surprised. I'm not surprised, but it was excellent.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
So anything that you need to report? I know I sound like I'm wrapping up, but what did you do? Did I ask you how you are?
No, not yet this week.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Oh, I know how I am. No, I asked you how you were in February, right?
I think you did, yes.
And so what'd you say?
No.
My lower back feels better because I took Excedrin and I rubbed some a transdermal pot on it.
Oh, good.
And then you said something about cold. Is it cold and heat or just cold?
I'm a big ice proponent. A lot of people say alternating is the thing. It depends how sharp the pain is.
I heard the part where I said I was masturbating on that show. Oh, that's delightful. I can't say, it's so amazing. Like, women are mailing me panties in the mail when I talk about my sexual.
No, those are face masks, Andy.
Oh! Maybe they're sending me they're sending me porno because maybe they're just trying to help.
I think they're just trying to help.
Okay, I won't talk about it anymore.
Lord knows you've put out a big enough cry for help.
I put it out, and I'm not going to talk about it any more until after the extension.
After the extension?
I'm having a penis extension.
Yeah, just to get the pizza ad in?
No, but I would. I'm having a second story built on my cock.
They call it the mother-in-law apartment?
What? I don't even get that joke. I just laugh at the rhythm of it.
It's like an apartment over a garage as a mother-in-law apartment.
Oh, I never heard of that. Boy, that sounds like something that you learn in Minnesota. Like people like townhomes.
No, it's something you learn as a homeowner.
Do you know this one, Jack and Jill Sinks? Jack and Jill Sinks.
Yes.
I hate it like poison when I'm watching HGTV and these people come, hey, look, it's got Jack and Jill Sinks. Okay, just stop it. It's not looking for. I don't want to hear open concept. I don't want to hear anything from you people.
See, but it's that kind of hypersensitivity that makes you gun shy on Twitter.
I'm beginning to think that I might be a little thin-skinned.
It might be. I don't know.
Ooh, you're certainly adopting the new mystery character.
I just got nothing. I've been.
Well, I think we.
I'm still cooking like a good fella in prison, and.
Wow! Anything new to report?
Just right, good stuff every day. I made some sympathy salmon for our friend whose mother died last week, and brought that over to his house. And
cool. Is he a chicken soup guy, or not necessarily?
He went with the smoked salmon.
Wow. Did you bring bagels?
No, but I brought cream cheese.
Okay. Yeah, I hope he's doing good. It's so weird that people can't travel, and on the one hand, I would say that. The fact that I knew I couldn't travel to my mother's funeral made the whole thing a complete relief. Because I didn't need it right then.
Right.
Because of the way it all went down.
Yeah.
So I think people are realizing that the memory. I mean, to me, the more horrible thing is when you can't see your loved one and they're in the ICU. That's, to me, they're still alive. But once people die, I feel like, like a pine box or a balsa wood box.
Yeah. You're not all romantic about the actual corpse.
No, I found this discount cremation outfit.
Yeah.
And this would be like if I was like a old timey comic. I have a great joke for it.
It's like a take and bake.
There you go. That would be a great idea. That would be less. And even if they what if they half cremated you?
Right. Just get it down to chunks.
Yeah. Okay, that's not right. That's not nice. You've crossed the line. Chunks. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you something. If you still want to get, if you still enjoy, no, that's not the way to say it. If you still haven't heard J. Elvis Weinstein, please download Chunks, and you go to chunks.com and then use and use the promo code CHUNKY.
I can only imagine what's at chunks.com.
Don't go there.
So I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again last night.
And did you like it less?
I liked it a little more. I went in with a better attitude, just because I already knew what was going to disappoint me about it.
Right.
So I was more forgiving, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, I think, a little more as a whole movie than I did the first time.
Yeah, and also I think the fact that he sometimes can come off pretentious, but this time he comes off as just like having a fun time with the concept.
Yeah, I mean it's always. I mean, he's terribly self-indulgent, but it was, the kind of self-indulgent he is fit together well with this showbiz movie.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and I like anything. I kind of do like anything Manson oriented. I mean, I used to. I think I'm burnt out. I can't watch it. I know that I don't go to the on ID Discovery. I don't go to the. We're going to interview the 4 Manson women that you haven't heard about yet.
Yeah, there's not a lot of breakthrough info left on that.
Spawn's grandson.
Right.
Hey, remember, we have to be open by May 1st or bust.
That's right.
Do you think we're going to all be broke, or do you think it's going to be like Brother King, you spare a dime, or do you think we're going to... What's it going to be? A WPA program?
I really don't know. Am I going to
jump out of a building?
I don't know when nightclubs are going to be a thing again,
Yeah. Nightclubs. I forgot I made money in nightclubs. I think I'm very proud of my career in the sense that I'd never put my eggs in one basket.
I just walk around with a handful of eggs.
Right. I'm still carrying them around. Hey, I still have my eggs. Hello? Okay.
All right.
Good stuff.
Well.
Very good. I think we're good, right?
Oh, are we?
Well, don't say it like that. That makes it seem strange.
Oh, okay. Are we?
It was good talking to you again, and I feel I think like the desire to have a good session, it's fool's gold,
Yeah, well, yet here.
Good, mission accomplished.
Yet I'm calling back tomorrow, so.
Now, do you want to end it tonight, or would you like me to end it? Because either way, I think it's delightful.
How about if I call you stupid and you hang up on me?
Okay, I like that idea. So, have you seen what happened to the Dodgers?
What are you, a moron?
Oh, look at all these cheese puffs. Oh, my gosh. This is one. Can I have one of these?
Go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great.
They're ready to eat.
They're ready to eat. We're ready to bake them now.
So you got them coming off here. Look at all these people down here, Louie, packing up the cheese puffs. Howdy, ladies. How y'all doing? They're happy packing up the cheese puffs.
Oh, yeah, they love it.
Now, is it hard to make cheese puffs? The concept of, what do? Blow air in them? How do you get them to puff?
Well, hello.
Hello, my friend. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Is that hello in there? Hello that you're doing?
I was doing Neil Diamond.
Oh. Sounded for a second like you might be doing a, oh, shut up.
Is that another cultural reference of mine that you don't understand?
I know that that's Neil Diamond, but This is the voice that I'd like to adapt for always. You don't understand, Josh. You don't fucking get it, do you?
All right, I'm going to call back, Andy.
Okay, I'll speak to you later. No! You think it'll be... Only do it if you think it'll be funnier. Or I'll snap to attention. How about that?
How about that?
What did you start talking about something?
No, I didn't.
Once again.
I made reference to the drinking game that was proposed today.
Which is every time I don't get a reference or every time I do get a reference?
Every time you don't get a reference.
Oh. What was your reference that you opened with?
Hello, my friend. Hello.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know that Neil Diamond song that much. Well, can you sing just enough not to get sued?
I've already butted up right against that.
Why wouldn't you go with LA's fine if it ain't how LA's fine if it ain't how fine New York's fine if it ain't. I know there's no nursery rhymes.
Because that doesn't fit at the very beginning of a conversation.
Oh, I guess you. Oh, so you're the big. Oh God, my personality, it bothers me on every level now. I can't get it comfortable.
You know what?
Yeah.
This isn't an official end of episode, but I do have to call you back because this connection sucks.
Okay, man.
All right.
Got it. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Hello, my... Oh, never mind. Okay, that's better.
Is it better?
It is. I went through the phone line instead of the internet because the internet's all hanky.
I call it hinky.
Okay. Let's call the whole thing off.
No. You don't get it. You don't get it. I'm on to you now. I'm on to you. All I have to do is wait slightly longer.
Is that it?
That's it.
How was your day, Andy?
See? Knocked it out of the park. You'd think the first time after I would blow it. I can't. It's like the Conan staring contest.
Yes.
You know what? Why I can't win those things? Because to me, the funny part, I could go on all night doing the same Abbott and Costello style joke.
Yeah. I can win. I can win simply by turning my mic off.
That's true. Hey, now you don't sound that good to me, but I shouldn't worry about that, right?
Well,
I could turn you up.
Yeah, try turning me up. See how that works.
It just sounds distant to me, but that's not. And not like I mean how you normally are.
Okay, well, I think we have to live with it.
Do you get the joke there?
I did.
You normally, as a person, what I'm saying is you're very distant.
Yes.
So it's very hard for me to relate to you because you don't open up.
Understood. Well, you never ask.
Hey, Josh. You never ask me how I am. Josh. You never ask me how I am. Josh. Oh, gosh. I have my goiters acting up. I had to have my Zunka de Zinc into the Zumba boy. Meanwhile, my best friend, at least from my side, won't even ask me how. You never ask me how I am. Don't ask. All right. I just got bored. Very bored. Do you know I listened to 1 minute of the show on double speed?
Yeah. How'd that work?
It worked. Well, I'm not I don't know if you know this, but I don't consider myself to be a bright person. I don't think I'm that bright.
No, Andy.
No. Thank you for defending me. I'm just not a fan of my intelligence level, regardless of what you think. It's something I separately feel. So, and an example of that would be that I don't remember the first part of the sentence. And I haven't remembered the first part of any sentence since 1970. I can't remember the year that I stopped remembering sentences. I think it could be marijuana, but I don't smoke it anymore.
Uh-huh.
You know what? You're not my teacher, man. Teach.
All right. Well, I'm not in the mood for this.
Let's get out of it. All right, that's enough of that. Enough of that. Let's get into the meat of our Thursday night conversation.
Okay.
Now, Josh.
Yeah.
Before you say anything, do I need to solicit questions when I get off the phone tonight?
You can if you'd like.
Or are we done with that?
No, you feel free.
Oh, okay. Feel free. I just wrote down "feel free" on a piece of paper.
Okay, good. Well, that's good advice for life.
That's and that's also my new listening style. It's based on Chuck Todd. He makes noises like. I'm gonna go. Say something.
That's Chuck Todd interviewing Chuck Todd.
I can't even believe it. If you told me that he'd be the number one, okay. You know what? Your lack of interest in the discussion of politics is starting to tip me off that it's not an interesting topic because I don't like talking about it.
I don't understand.
In other words, I've tried to bring up the four vicissitudes of the day, and every time I've ever tried to do that, it always comes out, look, I know we don't like to talk about politics.
Yeah, but that's you saying that. That's not me. That's you prefacing it before I say anything.
Well, it's always me. I mean, I'm just giving you a different variety of me.
Yeah. What would you like to talk about, Andy?
Nothing. I got nothing.
I'm ready to dive in.
Except Thursday. What's that?
I'm ready to dive in on the gristle of the day.
Yeah, but, you have to ease into you see, the thing is, when I first started doing the podcast in the late 90s, without you, I thought that being a good listener was saying, okay, I've talked for 43 minutes, Josh. What would you like to say about your past week? Do you have a story and or an anecdote?
Well, you know what, Andy? By just avoiding asking any of that, though, it never comes up then. If you just decide that asking how am I is hackneyed, then there's just no hope for a conversation.
That's true. That's the thing. Because I overtake your criticism. I overtake it. Instead of calibrating or, instead of looking at the metrics, what's the metrics of this? Hey, what's the metrics? Do you use that improperly like I think many people are using it? What are the metrics about making this sandwich? You think we have enough meat? What are the metrics?
Yeah, I've eschewed the whole metric language.
I feel like we're playing a game. Use a word we don't normally use and pretend we don't know we're using it. So you just use eschewed, and I used another word earlier that I was like, look at that word. Roll back the tape.
Oh, I have to.
Josh, I have to, but you, right?
Right.
Did you ever? You never said who's with me.
This week represents the wall, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think you're wrong.
We're going to push through this wall this week.
No. I think you're looking at it exactly the wrong way. When I'm doing my worst work, I'm looking at my best work.
Through the wall.
No. You have to hit rock bottom. They say that in the podcast world.
Yeah.
You have to hit unlistenable, annoying, self-serving, and the bottom of sanctimony and narcissism. You got to go all the way to. I'm not sure I've hit rock bottom.
All right. Well, let's keep pushing.
That's right.
I watched.
Did you see? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I got nothing.
Did I see
Joe Madison's funny video?
Yes, I just posted it on Twitter.
It's so good. He's a funny person.
He is indeed.
But that shouldn't have meant that I interrupted your story. Now, what's going on? You just watched a movie, right?
I did. I was going to try to bring that into the mix. I watched.
And what was the movie?
That's my nightly movie watching. That's my new sanity policy is finish the day with a movie.
I bet it works.
It's better than finishing the day with news.
Oh God, I got sick from hearing you say that because of realizing how often that's what I do finish the day with.
Yeah. So last night I watched Lilies of the Field.
I don't think I know that movie except the name.
It's Sidney Poitier and nuns.
Oh yes, I do know that movie. I would never have watched that movie because I would think it's like as a Flying Nun meets the '60s. I have no idea.
I always thought it was actually heavier than it was. I mean, I never thought it was Flying Nun frivolous. But I always thought it was I thought it was trying to be a very heavy movie, and it's not at all. It's a very light romp, sort of. Romps maybe a little. Romps might be overselling it, but he got an Academy Award for it, which I can't quite fathom, except for the fact that he was Sidney Poitier in 1963. You know.
Was that his first? Did he win another one after that, or that was the one he won?
I'm not sure. That was. I don't know. I'll look it up. But I know he won for that. Let's see.
And I was going to ask you.
He was nominated a second time, but he was the first black actor to win Best Actor.
And that was for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
No, for Lilies of the Field.
Oh my God! Well, you just talked about the other movie. So I don't know, is it Sidney Poitier month on Criterion?
It was, yeah, there's a Sidney Poitier thing, and they're all leaving at the end of the month, so I decided to do a little festival.
I think that's a good move.
I did a festival of the canceled over the weekend too. I watched Annie Hall in Chinatown.
Oh, that's so great. I think I could watch Chinatown. I've watched Annie Hall so many times, but I could watch Chinatown one more time. What did you think of watching Annie Hall again?
I actually liked it more. I mean, I've always liked it, but I actually respected it a little more than other times. I just the time shifting and storytelling of it hit me as good craftsmanship this time around in a way that it hadn't before.
I think it may be my favorite movie, but I love Modern Romance too. But it's just so.
I think the funny in Modern Romance is funnier than Annie Hall, but I think Annie Hall is a better film.
I think you're right. These are always hard arguments, but
I think as an overall movie, there's just a lot more there. But
more depth in different things going on.
Depth in both the script and the filmmaking. But Modern Romance at its funniest is way funnier than Annie Hall at its funniest.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know he directs his movies, Albert Brooks, but I don't think of him. I think of Woody Allen as being, I don't know, what am I talking about? As being more a fan of directing going in, and so I don't know what I'm saying.
I always get the feeling that Albert Brooks directs so that people won't fuck up the tone and the jokes.
Which is important.
Which is important, but it's more of a sort of a TV approach.
Right. But also, hasn't he been with the same cinematographer for a long time?
He works with them for streaks, it seems like.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched, probably, I've maybe seen one out of his last 10 movies. So.
Oh, I have not seen, what was the one you saw?
I don't even remember. I saw the Scarlett Johansson, the first of the Scarlett Johansson ones. I think I saw Midnight in Paris.
But I love this. Yeah. But I love it. I love the Diane Keaton, how she's so blatantly anti-Semitic a couple of times.
Yeah.
You're a real Jew or something like that.
Yeah.
You're
well, because but even that is bought. She comes from an anti-Semitic family in Wisconsin. So.
I know, but it's like, and yeah, the scene. I don't know if you have to be Jewish to get the. No, you don't have to be Jewish to get the sense of what it would be like to look like a Jew at that dinner to Grammy.
Yeah.
Who went down to the garage? Grammy got something at the garage sale. I remember that.
I think anyone who's been the outsider at a dinner gets that joke.
And just there's so many, the fact. Paul Simon is so great in it, and he's so repulsive as the
record producer.
We're going over. Jack and Angela are going to be there. It's so good.
Yes.
It's just going to be. We're just going to chill, and that's probably the most pathetic moment of the movie for me of how he's acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to give her career because he doesn't want to be around. Anyway, maybe me doing the opposite of Mystery Science 3000 is not a good gig. And what was the other one you say you saw again?
Chinatown.
And now, I would like to see that because I think the last time I saw it was the only time that I really started to understand all the ins and outs of it. Maybe I watch movies strangely anyway, and I get addicted to the movie, and then I have to, so I really could use one more. But I just watched it recently.
It's really great.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Nicholson is just fantastic in it.
Oh, yeah. That guy, here's the world's stupidest reviewer. Hey, you know what? What, Joshy?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson. You know why he's a good actor? I'll tell you why. I'm going to lower my voice as if the next thing I'm going to say is going to be profound. But it's not. It's because he's... I can't even come up with a punchline.
Oh, man. You stretched it out, though.
What would a dumb guy say if he liked Jack Nicholson?
I don't know. Go with your gut.
He does the best goddamn Jack Nicholson impressions in the business. That's why he's famous. I'll tell you why, Jack Nicholson. All right, forget this bit. I'm going to write it down and try and sell it to someone.
Okay.
I spoke to Fred Willard today. I told you that I was going to call him, and then I just listened to the show that
where I encouraged you to call him. Yes.
And I called him today.
How'd it go?
Not a good idea. No, it was good. It was very, very good. And it was really nice talking to him. And he told me about a show he said was good called Sven Gulling.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. It's in the spirit of local horror hosts.
Like Zachary the Cool Ghoul and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, you don't sound like I'll tell you something. You don't ever take a job where you have to give a poker reaction. You don't have a good poker reaction.
No.
Because you don't sound agnostic about it. You sound like it's not that good.
No, it is.
Don't worry,
it is good. I've just
Fred won't listen to this.
I've had my dip in the pool of that world.
You have?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Mystery Science Theater?
I am. And Cinematic Titanic.
Oh, I see. I didn't even think about it that way. So in other words, to you, it'd be like you going home and watching a movie about a Jewish stand-up comedian who is annoying.
It's not that. It's just that I don't, without having the purpose of making jokes around it, I don't take any pleasure from watching shitty movies.
Oh, the movies aren't good?
No. I mean, they're B movies, that's the point.
We used to call them, and I don't know if you did call them this, or we just called them this in my generation, was monster movies.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm going to exit out of this to say that I have another. You know how I've often tried to tell you that about my philosophy of life?
And we can see 2 monster movies for a nickel.
Remember, I've told you of this feeling that I always thought that everybody had my exact childhood. Everybody grew up when the Vietnam. Everyone was 13 in 1969 when the Vietnam War. And then being surprised to realize that I'm a small grain of sand in a sea of nothingness.
Yeah. I
realized by watching a special about the 69 Knicks and the 74 Knicks that there's been nobody luckier. There's nobody luckier than me. And that if anybody was born the year I was born and saw the Knicks, Mets, and Jets all win the same year, your favorite teams, they're more you like them more than you love them more than your family, and they all won in a town where I think three of the sports we've all been terrible. The Giants are okay.
Right. Okay.
So no wonder they built, and that was my bar mitzvah year. Are you kidding me?
But why does that? Okay.
I peaked.
Okay.
So my point is, I peaked. I thought there was going to be peace. I thought this was the age of Aquarius. I overrated Woodstock. I overrated hippies. And I had a miserable time from then on, from the last Nick win on. Okay, because what time period did the last Nick win encompass? Fucking goddamn impeachment of Nixon. It was a sweet life.
Was
Except
that
for all the deaths and
was 74 was 74 the Willis Reed limp on year?
No, that was the first one.
69?
69, 70.
Really? Okay.
69, 70.
70 is what
people don't.
When you said 69, it didn't ring a bell as much as 70. So
Right. And I remember watching that game. I may have even listened to that game on the radio, but that nobody. Part of the documentary was that nobody really remembers the second time they won because it was on like at 1 a.m. because they beat the Lakers out in L.A. and it wasn't a popular event that particular year.
No, I mean in the 70s they had gotten to the point where they were literally showing the finals on tape delay.
That's right. Yeah, and that's right. And so they were having like the initial. I mean, and not that long before that. They had horrible stadiums and terrible turnout. Like Walt Frazier was saying, no women ever came to the game until, to the whole thing phenomenon happened with Red Holtzman and the whole thing. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the fact that you can't use anything from tonight?
I'll put in some funny clips.
I do like all of the bumpers you've used. Are they called bumpers?
Yeah, sure. They get even more obscure for last week.
I can't tell any edit points at all, but that's the point, I guess.
It is the point.
Are you happy? Are you less happy than you were yesterday? Are you more happy? Are you getting more optimistic about the future? Are you getting more depressed about the future? Any of those you could answer.
I would say I'm unchanged since yesterday on my outlook about the future. I don't, I'm trying to just go zen day to day.
That's good.
If I think about it, I can worry about any number of things, both personal and world-based things.
Right. But
basically, I'm just trying to keep my shit together and feed us well, and I'm starting to write a little bit. I'm starting to work out more. I'm starting to get a little bit of discipline into my life again.
So that's cool. I moved the Bosu ball to the front of the storage unit.
There you go. That's a nice workout in and of itself.
Do you know the book that Robert Crumb wrote called I think is it his autobiography? No, I think it's a biography. It's called Your Vigor. It was from one of his letters to somebody. Your vigor for life appalls me.
Yes.
On the vigor for life scale, I'm going to ask you every day.
Okay. All right.
In an annoying way. What is your vigor? And on 1 to 10, what's your vigor for life?
Well, I mean, are we asking just because my vigor for life in the best of times probably rarely gets above a 7.
Now, I don't know how the ratings work. Does that mean that that's your 10? Is that your 10? Nope. I don't think that is. I think your vigor for life always had. Oh, you're right. If it's never 10, I'll have to rethink the parameters. But I think no. I think it's how you really feel on 1 to 10 every day.
Okay. Today I'm at a solid 5. Kind of bored.
I would put. A
little anxious about getting back on the track.
I'm going with. You know what I'm going with? 8.
Nice.
And the reason why I'm going with 8 is because at 11 o'clock last night, I had recaptured some of the early feeling I had when I first started taking Prozac. I felt what I thought was a euphoria, except I stopped calling it that because of my therapist and my psychiatrist. They get nervous when you say euphoria. So then I had to re-examine it, and realized that what it was is the lack of obsessing, the lack of anxiety. All of that felt like euphoria.
It was just a moment.
And that's what I felt.
A moment of peace.
Exactly. That's what I felt last night at 11 p.m. And I'm very, very encouraged by it.
That's good. Just knowing it's there is a good thing.
Yep. Very happy.
Good.
Do you want to hear my cannibalism joke?
Yeah, do I?
I've never told a cannibalism joke, and I'm not saying I'm going to tell one, but I was reading about the difference between why viruses in the New Yorker, why viruses are more dangerous than bacteria, because it's easier with the bacteria to most of the times to guard against it with the proper hygiene.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like because it's a respiration disease is easier to catch.
Right.
Than but they say so. And they say as long as you so it's always better to have the it's in that way it's always easier to fight a bacterial disease as long as you stay away from cannibalism. That they said that. I think they meant it as a joke. But I was when they said that I said I'm glad they said that because the guy in 2E. That's all I got. Really?
Well, the setup is really strong. The setup's really strong. the preschool Shark Tank setup is really.
And then the bacteria and the thing, and then he said that the respiratory is harder to catch, but then the bacteria makes it really bad. It's super bad, but then the virus, it gets it up your nose, and the bacteria is much more bad. Coming up on Preschool Nova.
Oh, God. That's what happens when I was so ashamed to even be writing a joke. And I thought, well, is that going to be good for the podcast? But I was so ashamed of it. I'm glad they said that because whenever I go by 2E in my apartment building, I get hungry.
All right.
Isn't there a joke that says you haven't touched your carrots or something like that? A cannibalism joke?
Probably. No dessert.
I don't think... No dessert.
No dessert until you finish your Sam.
Oh, God. That is the funniest thing I ever heard.
Good.
Oh, my God.
Let's close that.
Let's close it, and I will solicit questions immediately.
Excellent.
And do you want me to do the thing where I say, and then one more thing, and then hang up? Or I do one of my horrible end of day slow?
I have to say, I keep telling you, we don't work like that. You know, I'm sorry. I keep saying it ain't that kind of thing. I don't take requests, and I don't do, you don't yell out at me. I don't like people yelling at me no damn way, okay? Forget it. Oh, na, 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 na.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm excellent.
Hello.
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good. Not too bad today. Not too bad. This is my new phony guy.
Yeah. It's very businesslike. It's like you're about to ask for a loan.
Well, Josh, I always tell my wife I like you. I like you. You're a good man. Good man. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. How are you? How are you? It's Friday, Josh. We made it.
We did. To what? I have no idea, but we made it to Friday.
It seems like things are getting worse globally every day, and I heard something about there's more cases in the South Bay than they had bargained for. I don't know if they were bargaining for cases, but that's what I heard.
I was the chief case negotiator for the South Bay, unfortunately. I cut a bad deal. I'll admit it.
And that's not usual for you because hey, do you think it's true that Jews, it should be 7 feet because of the constant spitting and the phlegm producing. More like 7 feet.
I thought it was a nose joke.
Either way, it's a terrible joke. No, it's better. More like 7 feet. Okay. With the nose, I'm going to use every one of these unless you use them.
They're yours, my friend.
They're terrible.
Consider it a buffet.
Buffet?
Yes.
I don't get that part.
They're all jokes for you to select from.
Oh, what a cornucopia. Thank you for the cornucopia.
Man, I actually thought of a joke for you earlier, and it's going to come back to me at some point.
Okay, I can't wait. I mean, I need it.
But I can't access it from here. but it'll come back.
What, was it a funny joke? What do you think of this sound?
It actually makes it feel like my earphones are touching each other.
I listened to a little bit of our 100th episode, and that sounded good.
Good.
And then I noticed that I have to do something about my queue, my podcast queue. I don't understand it. It's constantly going to 3-minute teasers of shows that are somehow related to the show that I initially wanted.
Wow. That sounds weird. That sounds like...
I'm going to start snoring myself during the story. Hey, I went into did I tell you I was having trouble organizing my podcast today? Did I mention that?
I'm going into questions, Andy.
Bring me my delightful man. I think I would have done good as a game.
As a game?
Okay, let me guess, okay? The Soup Nazi says, Super Sandwich says, okay, see if I was right.
Sous Vide says,
still a great name.
A month ago wrote this question for this show. Hey, Foster Brooks, has the situation gotten better or worse?
Well, it's a complicated situation, I have to say. It's the cases in New York have flattened out, but there's still some question over air boxes.
So you're telling me you worked on this stuff this afternoon? You pre-worked? You've already got your shtick? I bet you have your.
Is that how polished it came off?
No, it didn't. It didn't. That's the thing that makes you a genius. You're like the comics who used to pretend things were off the top of the head. Oh, here's another bit I've been doing for 12 years.
Right. Not Tweet Bahara.
I love you, Not Tweet Bahara.
Really enjoying the new format. It's like a Thought Spiral advent calendar, and behind every day is Andy. It's a Catholic thing. I forgot Jews don't know from advent calendars.
I only learned of it recently from you.
Yes, this Jew knew.
From you and Brian Posehn told me about it.
Seth Dick III says, are you watching old sporting events that they're showing on TV? Seems pointless when you know the outcome. Question for Gregory Peck.
Well, Seth Dick III, if that is your name, I have been watching quite a bit of mostly old Celtics games. And then, of course, I'm coaching my all-Hitler soccer team.
And how many of these Celtics games? Why are you watching the Celtics games?
Well, I think it's obvious, isn't it?
Oh, you're still in character? I'm sorry. Sorry, Greg. I wanted to ask you as Josh. I thought that. I'm sorry. I didn't know I forgot we were in a bit. God damn it.
I thought we had a gentleman's agreement.
Dan Mars.
I can't tell the difference between. Sorry, I can't tell the difference between you and Gregory Peck sometimes.
I understand. You insolent Jew.
That still makes me laugh. You bulba, you insolent Jew.
Dan Marsh says, congratulations, Josh and Andy. You're going to be starring in a wacky new Saturday morning cartoon. What cartoon animals are you, and what are your characters' relationship?
When did this turn into homework from people?
I'm gonna say we're like a reverse Tennessee Tuxedo and Chumley, where Chumley's the smart one.
Okay. I barely remember either of those characters. Oh, Chumley.
Come along, Chumley. We're going to see Mr. Whoopi. Think Don Adams.
Oh, it's Don Adams.
Yes.
Don Adams. Would you believe another thing?
Gee, Tennessee, maybe we should go see Mr. Whoopi.
Dan Wade says, hey guys, now that I'm watching more daytime TV, I'm seeing more commercials about how buying a timeshare was a mistake. Do you think Philip Ainsworth is still in the business? I'd like to think that since 1996 he's graduated to something more camouflaged as a scam.
Like fractional leasing?
No, something even shiftier.
Maybe he'd be like an exterminator where it's supposedly non-toxic.
For those of you not in the know, Philip Ainsworth is my character in The Fiddling Horse. Greg Kelly says, I was having a Zoom get-together with my pal Reggie, and he wondered, when was the last time you had a really, really good patty melt? Did James Mason like his patty melts on dark rye or light rye?
Oh, I just can't believe this.
Well, Greg Kelly, I'll tell you straight up. My preference is absolutely a light rye, preferably a corn rye. And I've had a delicious patty melt within the past year, most certainly.
I don't like that. That's like a thing that you have. I think that they talked about that on the Best Show once, where it's like the way you make a hamburger, like Friendly's. It's not really a hamburger, right? A patty melt.
It's a patty melt. It's its own entity.
Yeah, but if you're going to have a hamburger, you want a bun.
Well, but the grilled bread presents a consistency where a bun can go wrong 7 different ways.
To Sunday. Well, thank you, Ben. By the way, I appreciate you staying in character like Jim Carrey did in the Andy Kaufman movie.
It's my pleasure. Larry Harold says a priest, a rabbi, and a pastor walk into a bar, but they can't get served because bartenders Gregory Peck and James Mason are having a heated discussion. What's it all about?
You read the question as James Mason.
Mengele, we're shutting down the bar. You can't make a Harvey Waldbanger. I've made a Harvey Waldbanger since before you were born. This is not a Harvey Waldbanger. This is absolutely a Harvey Waldbanger. You incident piece of shit. That's it. Mengele, I'm shutting you down.
You know, it's hard sometimes when Mengele is the more likable.
Pack up your simple syrup and your bitters and take a walk. Mixologist my ass.
You've really now taken all of the sting out of the Holocaust.
Good. Joe says, question for both Andy and Josh. Can you still get lost playing an instrument? Is it helpful when you feel stressed? No, I mean, I never would. If I could get lost playing an instrument, I'd be a much better instrumentalist. But I was always not one of those multi-hour practicers.
Well, I would say that I loved, if I was high, if I was on acid, if I was really high, I could play for hours. Or if I'm really having fun at someone's house. And if I had something hooked up very easily where I could walk into a thing and start playing lead, I think I could do that for a half hour. I always want that situation where, like, I'm listening to the song and I'm playing lead and I can hear it back in the headphones, but you have to set it up. But I'm more in your school of I don't sit around and strum, especially.
Well, I mean, the truth is I'm actually sitting here in my office and there are 4 instruments within my reach at my desk.
Right, but if there were 2 people there, I guess I'm just saying when you jam, it's more fun to play than just on your own.
Yeah, but I do play by myself, but I play in short bursts.
Okay, I accept that.
I play quite a bit, but I don't play for long.
I don't, and so why? And I, for some reason,
here's a little audio clue as to how diverse my musical surroundings are. Okay. Ready? Thank you.
Is that a trumpet?
That is a piccolo trumpet, yes.
Is that a play instrument?
No, that is an actual bona fide brass small piccolo
So
trumpet.
you actually have chops.
Well, I
You
would
could be an embouchure guy.
At one time I could play a nice clear tone on a trumpet. I have not regained it yet.
Man, I used to love.
But I'm
bugles.
working on. Weirdly enough, I started working on playing the Dick Van Dyke theme on trumpet.
You kind of have to take a lesson, right? I couldn't imagine. I guess some people could teach themselves, but isn't that like a hard? You have to have someone show you how to do that first.
Well, I played when I was a kid.
Yeah. So, right.
I mean, we'll revisit it once I get a little better. We'll revisit it so it doesn't.
That's exciting.
So it doesn't sound like I was killing an animal as much.
That's what my dad would say.
But I did want to show you just how musical the surroundings are.
Well, I would only believe it if you're wearing some kind of a jazzy hat.
I'm not wearing a jazzy hat, unfortunately.
Okay, I don't believe it then,
All right.
because that's the kind of person I am. No, I think it's cool. If I had an office, I'd be producing so much more work.
Carrie Whedon says Curb is so awful now. Do you think Larry David is playing a long con, seeing how bad the show can get before we stop watching? The awful feels deliberate. Feel like we're being had. Am I overthinking this?
I think I'm sorry. You go.
You are overthinking it in the sense that you're still watching. I bailed.
Right. But he thinks it's great. Larry thinks it's great because I think he's lost the ability to know it's not that he's lost the ability to know it's funny, but he's lost the ability to care. The thing I find sad about, not sad, but it's amazing that all the different reviews are like, he's back. Last year wasn't so good, but he's back, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what it is that people are latching onto in that. Because it seems so obviously bad.
That's where I think it's like even people who don't you see that's he's trying to get a catchphrase, or he's coming up with a new I'm sideways sitting, or it's deliberate.
I am seeing funnier and more palatable quarantine videos coming out than. Sous Vide is back to say if you had to be sheltered in place with one of the real people, which would it be? My rank, number 1 through 8, Skip Stevenson, Fred Willard, Sarah Purcell, Peter Billingsley, Bill Rafferty, John Barber, Mark Russell, Byron Allen.
Well,
of course, Fred Willard goes to the top.
Yes. And there were other people on that list that seemed like they'd be fun to hang out with.
I gotta put Mark Russell up higher just because I'm curious.
Yeah, if he's still slinging it. I would not be in a room with Byron Allen, believe me.
No, well, you have, and it didn't work out.
But did you know this, Josh?
I did. I did. Yeah.
What is it? No, I know that. But even I know, it is. I was almost going to get annoyed with you for a second. Come on. Am I someone who repeats things every 5 seconds? Yeah. But no, I had a new thing. We sued them as a union. We've sued them. We've sued Byron Allen's company as a union. I'm getting another check.
Nice.
On top of it. And many people who are actors are.
Good.
So if it's after SAG, it's not just me you can thank, but it's me and a couple. I'll come back and tell you who the other people were because we're geniuses and saints.
Rookie Karoka, or rather Rookie Karoka, says my dear old dad swears that Foster Brooks turned down the role of Petroni in Airport. It's a blizzard and the plane is stuck, but Mel Bakersfield needs runway 29er open and Petroni is licensed to taxi. George Kennedy was great. Still, I wonder.
This is Delta 429er looking for runway 20, 1 less than 30. And I'm ready to taxi.
You sound drunk, 199er.
No, I'm just nervous from all the troubles.
People have more energy in how they frame one of your impressions. I haven't written an email that long in about 7 years. they not only ask for it, they elaborately present you with the scene they'd like you to follow up on.
It really is. It's like an audition every week. Christy W. says, since you can't point where, when, or how you first met, perhaps you could write and perform a parody of I Remember It Well for us.
Oh, yes. I remember it well. I was a Jew.
You were a goy.
I was obnoxious.
I didn't enjoy.
Oh,
yes. I remember it well. We had a drink. We smoked some pot.
My penis used to work.
No, it did not. Ah, yes. I remember it well. Cigar
How would you know my penis didn't work?
Can you put your kid on the phone?
What? What's that joke? I don't even know that joke.
You said, how would you know if my penis didn't work?
Oh, I don't know what you're saying. I think you're making me into some kind of a child thing.
No, it was just about you not having kids because your penis didn't work.
Only I, as an OCD sufferer, would switch immediately into, I don't know what the fuck Josh is doing right now, but God damn it, I'm going to be arrested for child something. Wow. That makes me laugh. It makes me laugh so hard how quickly I snapped. What?
Cigar-shaped UFO says, my first issue of Mad was the Poop Side Down adventure. After that, I was hooked. Once I became a veteran, I'd go straight to the fold-in, read all the Don Martins, then just cruise. Tell us a Mad Magazine story, please.
I'll tell you, I used to make my father laugh. One thing I really remember making my father laugh when I would read him one of the things, and it was one of the things like they were doing a takeoff on how people call up and they give the information in the phone call while asking for it to be collect, and then they don't accept the charges, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just so funny. For some reason, my dad loved it. And I think it's more about me and my dad.
Well, Mad brings generations together.
You can go. What are you going to go with? Snappy answers and stupid smooth troops?
No, I don't know. I mean, Mort Drucker died last week, so that
I know.
And Matt, I mean, he was the greatest, and it made me think that of how many like pop culture figures I saw first as a Mort Drucker cartoon.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
And then saw the real person a little later. You know,
he really had. I mean, not that there aren't great others who are great, but man, his style was so distinctive and so in our psyche.
Yeah, and so copied now.
Yeah.
Guy Incognito says, I heard as Trump's confidant, Mike Lindell had something to say about how you should spend your stimulus check. What did he say about that? Well, there, Guy Incognito, I think it's pretty obvious that the only way to spend your stimulus check from Donald Trump, straight from God, that Donald Trump, by the way. The only way to spend your stimulus check from President Trump is on comfort. And the way you achieve comfort is with MyPillow.
Wow. Can I ask you a question, Mike Lindell?
Oh, of course.
Yes. Now, you claimed during when you did your advertisement during the news conference that night that you were making these masks. Now, I can't find any evidence that you've made any masks. How many medical masks have you made thus far?
Well, they aren't actually medical masks. They're more of a Halloween sort of thing.
No, come on. Don't joke around with me,
It's for my gubernatorial campaign. It's a bunch of Mike Lindell masks, actually. But you can use them for Halloween. You can get your trick or treat.
No, not for Halloween. I want them medically used.
Well, I don't. That's not the business that I'm in.
You promised that 75% of your production line would switch.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Those I sold to China.
I'm obsessed with the fact that I don't think he's made any.
What are you inferring? Or implying? I'm not sure which.
The speaker implies and the listener infers. However, I think it's now in.
What are you inferring from my behavior?
Well, first of all, Mike Lindell, I didn't realize you seem a lot nicer than you come across on those horrible commercials where you're trying to shove those stupid pillows down our throat.
Well,
you sound like a nice guy.
I am a nice guy, especially now that I'm back on the crack.
No. Your whole story is that you're not doing it anymore.
Well, I didn't do it, and then I made a bunch of money, and now I can do it again. That was the plan all along.
What about God and all that stuff?
Well, God's with me on it.
God's with me on it. That is so good. Oh, Mike Lindell.
M. Ledsome says, now that you guys are movie stars, would you write a movie together? Would it be about stand-up? Much love to you and Andy. Much love to you, Andy, and Josh, too. So many performers and crews struggling at the moment. Have an extra cup of coffee each from me this month. Thanks, Em.
Oh, and that is the sweetest thing. But now I'm worried about but where's your rent and money going to... I don't know. What?
Nothing.
No, we would definitely. We're working on a lot. No. I don't know if we would.
It would be horrible for us to write a movie together.
No, I don't think we could. I really don't think we could.
Yeah.
Because I would be basically dragging you down.
Well, I don't know about that. I just don't think that the dynamic would be such that we could sit in a room and...
It wouldn't be fun.
It wouldn't be fun.
Right. But we can work on any project together, though.
I'm not saying we can't work together. I just think specifically us trying to pound out a script together would be deadly.
Okay, we need another blow. Josh, we needed a blow for the...
I can't do it. Why? I can't do it, Andy. I'm terrible. I can't think.
Oh, come on, Josh. You're a very funny man.
No, oh, God.
Josh, I want to go home because am I too stupid to do this for us to be... I think I'm too stupid sometimes to be in a comedy writing team. What do you think?
Yes, you are. Get the fuck out.
Yes, after all these years, you fucking nitwit. Can't you tell that you're stupid? Your father wasn't wrong about everything.
Well, thank you for the coffee, and thank you for a bunch of people have given us nice coffee donations in this past.
It's so nice. Yeah,
it really is. We appreciate it a great deal.
That makes me almost. It would make me cry if I could get in touch with my feelings.
Mark Thompson says, when that golden day comes and we can return to normalcy, will you need time to bring your acts up to speed again? Can stand-up skills get flabby if they aren't used? Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, but not like when you compare it to music. That's the one thing I always like. Not that I would be able to play professionally, but that's the one thing that I noticed with comedy is that I feel like I'll never lose the distance from the microphone or how to hold a microphone thing. Whereas I think with music, you lose. I feel like for me, I felt like I'd fall out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a question. It's just a question of getting your, like I at this point, I'm going to be starting over from scratch anyway when I go back to stand up. So, and I'm pretty used to being rusty when I go on stage.
Yeah.
So, but if I had to go do my, the act from Chunks right now.
Yes, that wouldn't be fun.
It would be hard. I would have to literally listen to the album.
Well, you know what I say? Something about May 8th I just found out, and I'm not saying for sure, but I think May 8th might be a very interesting day for releasing of albums that have been in the works for many years.
That would be fantastic if that was true.
Yeah, I think it's true, but I will update you. Please, listeners, don't get off the edge of your seat. I'll let you know.
Fingers are crossed. Ragamuffin12 says, J. Elvis, as a longtime Genesis/Phil Collins fan, I have to say that I was quite dismayed at your attitude towards the band and their music. Luckily, I love you both, so I will continue to listen to your otherwise brilliant show.
Wait a second now. I thought you weren't you? I thought you liked them.
Not really. I didn't. I didn't savage them.
Yeah, and I didn't savage them.
I believed I referred to them as slightly more interesting. Yes.
Oh, okay. So, I guess if I loved something, and I would disagree. I think if you love something and you disagree with somebody, you always want them to be able to see what you see. I don't know enough about Genesis to really be the judge here, but I know Exodus and Leviticus are very good bands. Deuteronomy is pretty funny. You know what my favorite band is?
Numbers. It's Numbers, of course. Everyone says Numbers. When it comes to biblical bands, I like Methuselah. Well, I like his old stuff.
Exactly, his old stuff. And Psalms. Psalms, for example, make sense. Because that's almost like a song.
Right. Of Solomon. Joe says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Me, a woodchuck would chuck as much as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. My wife, a woodchuck would chuck 100 chucks if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Me? Bob, Bob, banana, fana, faux fuck.
I don't think he thought I would get that quite that well.
You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
I mean, are you looking at the words?
I was, yes.
Well, that's still hard. I just don't think it's easy.
Usman Khan says, hope you and your loved ones are well. Years ago, Andy used to appear on Am I Right, a radio show from Canada. Those are some of the funniest conversations I've ever heard. Andy, can you speak to those shows? Where are they now? Usman from Austin.
Well, we've been, and I've known Usman for many, many years. It's a show by these two fellers who are hilarious, Jesse and, oh my God, I'm just spacing on the other guys. Oh my God, he's a friend of mine. Anyway, if I start spacing on the name, I'll go on forever. But they really had a great show, and it was called Am I Right? And they were just like, it was almost like created for the comics that they kind of liked in a way. So they were always great when they would bring Sharpling on, or they would bring me on, or they would bring, they were really, really sarcastic, and they were doing their show from Calgary. So it was pretty cool. It was and I was very sad when they stopped.
Got it.
Hello?
I got nothing to add. So I'm just going to move on. Nadine's eye patch says, hello, Thought Spiral. I watched True Romance last night and forgot how good Christopher Walken is in it. Do either of you have a good Tracy Morgan impression?
I never saw that movie. Is it good?
Tracy Morgan's not in it. It was a non sequitur.
Oh, okay. I don't do Tracy Morgan, and I don't like to do black people because it usually goes wrong.
Fair enough. I don't have one either. So
Evan. His name is Evan. Thank God. I remember it. Evan and Jesse. Thank God. Now I can go back to being a good person.
Oh, I just remembered the joke.
What's that?
That I wrote for you, that I forgot that one.
Okay.
I know it's not fashionable, but I am 100% behind Woody Allen. What? Too soon ye?
I think I want to do that. I'm going to do that joke. I'm 100% behind Woody Allen. What? Too soon? Ye? How would you say? Give me the reading on soon ye.
Too soon ye?
Too soon? That's going to be my best joke. The thing I like about that joke is I know that people I have dreaded and have not enjoyed probably any time I've ever talked about it seriously.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, it's horrible.
So this sets them up to hate me so bad. Oh, my God. This could be the name of my next album. Too Soon Ye? That's good. Now, I'll give you another example. Here's an example of why social media is bad. That joke would be bad on Twitter.
I don't know if it would.
You're right. It might not. But I see what you're saying. No, but
no, I don't think it would not. It would not come off as an endorsement of Woody Allen.
Too soon, ye? Well, then.
All right.
I still think I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the stage. I'm going to wait for my return to the stage.
I got no problem with that. I just want to.
Yeah. Well, you'll never have a problem with me tweeting less.
Michelle Wisecarver.
Hi, Michelle. I love you, Michelle. You're wise and you carve. And when you put them together, you're a wise carver.
I think she likes you a little less now. Wondering if you've done any quarantine baking, Josh. I love to cook but hate baking, much like myself. Yet I bought some yeast and bread flour and plan to attempt no-knead bread. Not sure what this means. Let me finish her question. Come on.
Would you please shut up?
Don't interrupt Michelle Wisecarver.
You started again because I'm really sorry that I did start talking. I got confused. I thought you were actually answering it, so let's take it again. I'm sorry.
Do we have to do the song again, too?
No.
All right. Wondering if you've done any quarantine baking, Josh. I love to cook but hate baking. Yet I bought some yeast and bread flour and plan to attempt no-knead bread. Not sure what this means. And then in parentheses, love the Fiddling Horse, gentlemen. Both of you were a delight to watch.
Aww. Now I know where I went wrong the first time. I thought you were just immediately answering the question. I wish I could. You know who does? Susan is good with baking, but Susan is gluten-free, so she's going to make a gluten-free pizza because when she makes it fresh, the pizza is just so great.
I'm not a big baker. I made some cookies a couple weeks ago from scratch, but I've got like 3 or 4, like brownie mix kind of things in there just for sweet emergencies that I normally wouldn't keep in the pantry, but for these troubled times, you need some treats.
Well, no need. Everything I do is on a no need to know basis.
Too soon ye, Andy. Too soon ye. Commiss G says, now that you are casting from separate locations, has the Thought Spiral dress code been tossed out? Have either of you done any of the segments in your boxers or in pajamas?
If you had to say there was a dress code, or if you had to say there was how do I normally come dressed? I can't think of how you normally dress. I think you do wear T-shirts, though.
I do wear T-shirts. I have not done a pants-free episode of Thought Spiral. I might have done a sweat-panted episode, but most days I wear jeans.
I'm in shorts right now, but I don't want to. I would feel embarrassed if I was naked. What would the point be?
There wouldn't be a point.
No. Only point I could see is if I noticed, if I looked down south, I could make another joke about the state of my penis, which I'm thinking of starting as an adjunct to the State of the Industry speech.
Your penis is now acting as a divining rod. And there's always water underfoot.
For someone who claims to hate blue material.
I don't hate blue material.
No, I'm talking about me.
Oh, okay. Thrifty DJ says, I'm worried that now that I've gotten used to working from home, I won't want to go back to the office again. I don't like being around people, and social distancing has been great for me. Do you have any tips to ease my anxiety? Signed, Concerned in Columbus.
I had the same concerns. I'm not good either. I mean, I actually do love that about this, is that I really... I don't want to call that person because I'm going to have to go see them. Now I have no excuses to do anything. I actually feel like I'm relaxing and calling people. So I'm bad at social things, or I guess I'm getting slightly better, but I still dread going out sometimes. I mean, back in the old days when things were okay.
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think there also might be, I think there's going to be a lot more people who are splitting their time.
Yeah, which I think is going to be... could be good for the environment and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it could be. I think
you don't sound confident.
No, I mean, I think we need bigger chunks than that to do much for the environment. But
well, no, I mean, supposedly the air looks amazingly clean now.
Yeah, but
because we're not working.
Yeah, but I think that will change in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. You don't see me fighting you.
Stephen Elton Yates says, Andy, you define what proper morning is for you. There's no timetable, and your friends understand. Don't let worry about it add to the burden.
I'm confused by that question.
It's not a question. It's not a question.
Can you say again? I actually did space out.
It's pure support.
Sorry. Okay.
Stephen Elton Yates says, Andy...
Stephen! No wonder. I have to apologize because I really, I never have had a laptop open before while I've been talking to you, and it's really, really distracting. So I'm going to close out Safari. Okay. For some reason, I thought closing Safari would mean I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
So I am sorry. I apologize. And let us now resume our program, which is already in progress.
Stephen Elton Yates says, Andy, you define what proper morning is for you. There's no timetable, and your friends understand. Don't let worry about it add to the burden.
I really appreciate that. And just to show you how spaced out I am, when you first asked this question, I didn't even know what you were asking, and I got scared that I wasn't listening because I wasn't listening. So I tried to make up an answer, which was something about what I like to do in the morning. But no, I mean, of the messages that I am getting from my good friends and from people who I care about, and everybody seems to say the same thing. And it was the first advice I got when my father died, and it's the best advice ever, is if you could just turn off that side of you. And I especially am apt to, buy into it, but I'm not buying into it. So I think that I have in a good position to not to do less criticizing of how I feel.
Dana Schwartz says, Dana Schwartz, who sent me some music from Fraggle Rock this week. Oddly enough, because he remembered that I said I liked Fraggle Rock many episodes ago. So thanks, Dana. He says, I've spent a lot of time in quarantine thinking about whether I could do stand-up like you guys. I know I could get jokes, but I'm still lacking in personality and timing. So I guess this one's for Andy. What do I do next?
Well, I got to tell you, the thing about doing stand-up is you have to do it only if you want to do it, because all the other questions that you ask about it will never be answered by just not getting out there and doing it.
Although the fact that you didn't get his joke about you not having personality or timing says that he's not right. His writing skills aren't necessarily that strong either.
Well, there's still some residual of me being disappointed in myself about not being present during the question and answer thing, except I feel instead of beating myself up, I think I actually found the solution to it, which was just closing out the windows. So I'm still coming down from that, and I think I might have missed what his joke was there.
All right. Well, we don't have time to go back.
But do you think he should do stand-up? You can't answer that for another person.
I mean, I think you should try, but I think you can only do it if you need to do it. Is kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and you can't do it because you can't. If you are going to do it,
no one is supposed to do stand up.
Right.
It is it is an unnatural thing to do, and it's a great deal of work, and it's a great deal of sacrifice to get good at. So it is only something for people who need to do it.
Right. Except only thing I'd say is I wouldn't want to dissuade anybody.
No, there's nothing wrong with trying it, but only something internal can tell you if you should dive in.
Yep. Agreed, my friend. Agreed.
And finally, let's go with Wames Giner saying, not a question, just a rave. Fiddling Horse was so good. So much Kindler, and wow, Josh can really act. Thank you, Wames Giner.
Thank you very much for that. And I just want to say, to add on to that, I watched it again during the other viewing of it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I was bantering online, and it was fun because other people were in the room, Johnny Torito, and it was really fun. And I realized, and I liked the movie even more now, and also realized that there is you can know certain things that you really believe about the movie, but I don't think, you could say whatever. But the other things about how good it is or whatever, I just think I really do feel like I'm not a good judge, that my answer would be, how could anything with me in it be something that would be that good? You know what I mean? It's just a weird thing. But having watched it the second time, I appreciate everything more. Like that party scene is great. And the party scene is great, and you miss a lot of it the first time you see it. Like you talking to I'm watching your big head being very angry when the guy comes over I always forget his name. He's so goddamn funny.
David Hayden Jones.
Yeah, he comes over and tells you that he wrote the last line, and and all of the different scenes in that party scene, I was just really, really impressed with it. And so I really just felt like I'm always going to be watching myself. So it's hard to judge it, but I really am proud of it. And your acting is great.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Thank you.
But the only thing I still have trouble with is but I don't know if I have trouble with it, if I pulled off the coming at you with the shovel. But I think the fact that I don't look that dangerous is part of that. You don't really believe I'm going to hit you with the shovel. Anyway. Well,
I think it worked. I mean, I think it was meant to be comedic danger.
Yeah, right. And I'm trying to be tough maybe in that moment.
Yeah, no, I think it played.
Paula is amazing in it. David Hayden Jones is amazing, and he captured all those kind of people. I just really I was surprised that I liked it more, because I would think I'd stay away from it completely and just be happy that I liked it.
Right. Well, good. Well, let's end the week on that happy note.
I think so. I mean, I would like to apologize to you again
for just
spacing out.
Oh, okay.
No, just spacing out. And the thing is that it's such a weird thing. Like, while I'm doing something, it seems like I can't admit that I'm not there. Well, because I think if I admit that I'm not there, I'm admitting that I'm not there a lot. Well, or something. I don't know what I'm defending against. It's so stupid.
Let me speak on behalf of myself and the rest of the Thought Spiral family. Shake it off. Nobody gives a shit.
Okay. I like that.
And I hope you'll take that attitude through the weekend until Monday, when we start the spiral up again, people. If you want to help us out on a financial front, if you have such a wherewithal in your life, go to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral and buy us a coffee. If you want to support us in a more spiritual way, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a nice review and 5 stars. My album is called Chunks. It's in where every album is streamed. And there might be more albums to promote coming soon.
May 8th seems to loom large.
And
you know what we're left with, though, Josh? It's just one of these things, like, how do you end it? I mean, you could hang up on me again, but that's predictable. We did that last night.
Yeah.
There's no way that doing that again will look like anything but hackneyed. So I wonder if there's a...
No, you're setting me up to do it again, and... Oh...